Hey guys, what's up? I gotta make sure my stuff is still working. We got the new computer, so or the new GPU. So things have been acting funky. But how's it going, guys? How's it going? Hope everyone's having a good evening, good night, good day. So, chat, and I'm sorry for people who were in the other stream a minute ago. For some reason, YouTube started, like, an incorrect stream. I don't know, like, why? It was selected properly, but it just started a new one anyways, instead of the one I had set up. So sorry if anybody got stuck in that one. My bad. But how's everyone doing? Hope everyone's going good, going strong. It's like a war zone on Twitter right now. It's always a war zone on Twitter. So, chat, tonight, big story is V&U, which is a VTuber organization that is currently crashing out. So that is the main story. For those of you who saw the thumbnail, we are doing a little react at the end of it. Because apparently I don't know what he is, if he's like a VTuber reporter or what he is, but he did a stream earlier today regarding the leaks around this, and it was a shit stream. Also, hi Dama, how's it going? But yeah, I got there for like the second half of his stream, not the second half of the whole stream, but the second half of the V&U portion, and it was not good. What's your thoughts on the Texas bill? A lot of anime fans here in Texas are freaking out. So that was actually something I was gonna pull up for you guys. So we're mostly focusing on the V&U thing, but there are two big things that happened today. So I wanted to kind of touch on them at least a little bit. And the first one is the Texas bill. For those of you who don't know, Texas is introducing a bill which is basically a repeat of something called the Protect Act. It's a repeat to the point that it is almost word for word the same act. The only addition to it is it specifies that it's targeting AI. Ultimately, I don't know how this is going to go. It's my understanding that the bill has already passed. So I guess they just have to sign it into law right now. I don't know where it is along the process exactly, because I've heard some people say it's passed completely and some people say it's still like waiting to get written into law. The thing is, as soon as one person with a with a ruthless enough lawyer gets caught on this, it's going to the Supreme Court and getting tossed out. Because the thing is, the Supreme Court has already ruled on this exact thing and already said, no, you can't do this. So, like, it's one of those things, it's not like it's up in the air and they're going to try it. They are doing something they cannot do. And we have already discussed previously in the Supreme Court, they cannot do it. Some people are saying that they think it will stick because it says obscene depictions. Obscene is way too, like, way too subjective. The entire point of the original one was they said it was way too overbroad. I think it's still way too overbroad, and it's gonna get tossed out. Ultimately, I don't see much happening outside of Texas, realistically. I think it depends how enforcement goes, how quickly this gets removed, assuming it gets written into law. Because not Texas, sorry. We're talking about Texas. Australia. So Australia had a very similar law they tried to put in place. And it got overturned in like a couple months because they tried to be like really strict with enforcement. And they ended up doing almost a full blanket ban on anime. Like, it was just massive. Everything was getting banned left and right. Stores, they were trying to shut down stores for being filled with, like, CSAM material. That was their excuse. And it made people realize immediately, like, shit, this is way overbroad. Because when you have it going that hard and that much stuff getting banned, suddenly it's just like, yeah, no, this is way overbroad. It's not going to work. So they ended up going through like 300 different amendments to try and narrow it down to the point I think the Australian version is pretty toothless these days. But I think this is kind of how this will go with the Texas thing. If they are very strict with enforcement, I give it like a month before the whole thing gets removed. If they're very loose on enforcement, it could unironically be a couple years before we see like an actual case make it far enough to take it out. But honestly, that's all I really have to say on that. We're still watching it, and it's Texas, right? There's only so much you can do with Texas. Yeah, a lot of antis were cheering this on and not realizing that it's so overbroad it applies to basically everything. It applies to a lot of Western cartoons. It applies to most anime just in a blanket, even the ones that antis like. Part of the reason the Protect Act was stricken, or at least one of the reasons that was given, was they mentioned that it would apply to things like Romeo and Juliet. So under this law, because it has the same wording, the play Romeo and Juliet by Shakespeare would be banned, because it would be considered child porn. So like this, it's not gonna work. It's gonna be a shit show. So that was the first thing. The other thing I wanted to touch on, and we're gonna have to touch on this a lot heavier later. Not tonight. Tonight we have the V&U thing. But my stalker boyfriend is in trouble again. So Sylvie Spark, because people kept calling him out on Twitter, moved to Blue Sky. It's my understanding on Blue Sky you can block people and they can't see you like at all anymore. Maybe. But he has been on Blue Sky and he has been spamming talking about how he wants to contact the living facility that Linux lives in to, quote, file a legal case on her behalf. And he's an idiot, chat. He's extremely stupid. So he thinks he's being slick and he's looking like he's the nice guy helping out Linux, even though he's been harassing her for years. So he's like, no, guys, you don't understand. I'm helping her. I'm trying to like be nice for her and do this for her. In reality, like, everybody's smart enough to know that he's trying to file complaints in her name to get her kicked out. No one's dumb enough to believe that this is some nice, kind thing he's doing on her behalf. Everyone's pretty well aware he's being an asshole. I would say, do not go harass or intimidate anybody I talk about on my streams. I'm being serious with that. That's not a joke or a sarcasm or a euphemism. With that said, he's an absolute... This is like a new low for him, in my opinion. Like, he is trying to get somebody who is disabled, and I believe Linux said she's terminally ill, trying to get them kicked out of their care facility. That's absolute bottom of the barrel scum. No idea why anybody supports this guy still. Like, this is terrible. There's generally nothing else I can really say about it. And just so he doesn't say I'm lying, yes, he is specifically trying to claim that he is doing this for her benefit. However, Sylvie, if you're watching this, I don't believe that. I think you're a liar. And I think everybody else thinks you're a liar, too. Your stalker BF really loves punching down. He does. I think there's a reason he doesn't talk about me as much. Because he knows I will swing back really hard. Linux is in a very unfortunate situation, so she doesn't tend to swing at him too hard because she can't. And then other people tend to try and avoid drama, so they don't typically swing at him all that much. If it's true, it's psychopathic. Yeah, so I'll go through it real quick just so, like, nobody can say I'm lying about it. So he posts this first one. Here's the contact page for the consumer rights. Might want to give them a call or email. I might myself, actually, because I'd love to ask the question if it's legal for a care home to kick someone out for merely discussing care staff online in a general sense. This is talking about Linux, by the way. I also have sent the email and would suggest you two do the same, because if that facility is doing something illegal like that, then the government should be informed, because you both have rights. Keep in mind, he is talking to Linux and their, I believe, girlfriend in this, who have both said they want nothing to do with him. So I don't know why he's trying to do something, quote, nice on their behalf. Absolutely, they want nothing to do with him. So it's this giant thing here. Hard to kind of see. Here, I can probably do this, actually. And zoom in a bit. At what point do we acknowledge Linux's past rhetoric, labeling evil, vile, disgusting, among other things? Oh shoot, that's whooshes. Do you not think when you call someone this kind of stuff, it won't motivate others to treat the subject of that rhetoric to the same degree of respect? Keep in mind this was in response to me showcasing their past behavior of blaming me for something I never did and never apologizing. And then Sky replies, these tweets were made while privated and then deleted for a reason. They references Lynn's house and care, and the company providing those warned Linux that any post referencing care or house will lead to the loss of such, and that they found out from an online source. Please just delete this. Sylvie says they were deleted because they accused me and another person of trying to ruin their life baselessly. If I locked my account and was behind it, said some large streamer was ruining my life without any evidence, then tried cleaning up afterwards, deleting stuff, that's still slandering someone. Sky replies, you don't know me, but I'm Lynn's partner. I was there in the meeting with housing and the care team leads. They told us they received an anonymous online tip that Linux had been talking about care online and received screenshots of people replying to Lynn's post calling a carer very horrible things. Marina was the only person on the entire internet that had Lynn's name and address at the time. It's quite literally the only suspect. They privated to hide from care staff. Those tweets were deleted to comply with the terms laid out in the meeting. We do not want to pursue legal action. So he says, in that agreement, is there anything regarding someone else screenshotting it? Because those tweets do not insult the staff at all. Rather, it's again baselessly accusing me and another person of trying to ruin their life, which is extremely reckless and dangerous. Sky says the agreement laid out very clear terms that any post referencing Lynn's care staff, or housing can violate tenancy. It's very scorched earth, but they're old and not tech savvy. You can keep your screenshots, but if you posting them online leads to housing, seeing it, Lynn is homeless, please. Sylvie says, unless I can see this agreement, I have a very, very hard time believing your side of this based on the pattern I'm starting to notice from Linux. Sky says, please delete posts that display any reference to care staff, or housing. That is all. Please. You said you want all this to stop many times throughout your doc. Please. So this is typically how Sylvie gets one over on people when he can. And you can tell, like, he's being very threatening with this. Like, she says don't do it, and he immediately posts all of them. It's what he likes to do. It's just the kind of person Sylvie is. And I do not like him for it. Oh, well, there we go. He doesn't talk about me as much. He literally brought up a doc about you and another doc that was about someone else. To be fair, yes. Here, real quick. I might pull it up for you guys, just so you guys can see it. Where's my Google Drive? I have to keep my Google Drive hidden, chat, because if you guys saw what was in it, I would get in trouble. Oh, is that the right button? It is. So he made this, I think it's 57 pages. Yeah, 57-page document on Linux that he said he calls "To My Stalker / Harasser." And I believe, like, all this is about Linux. And then we get to the final, like, 10 pages. Yeah, for example, during the month, you were talking about black nonstop. By the way, he doesn't mean black like black people. He has Marina VT mentioned in this argument a lot. And he has every mention of Marina blacked out with a black bar, and he calls her black. I don't know why. Everybody knows it's Marina. There's no point for him to black it out. As you talk about black nonstop, you were nearly a guest on the Under the Tea podcast, willingly, mind you, until me and a friend actually managed to speak with Adora to convince you not to make a disastrous mistake. And we still have 10 pages left. So the next 10 pages are just about us. This is all me, by the way. This is my conversation with Proctor about -8. This is the second time he has tried to share this to get one over on me, as if I posted this. I'm not ashamed of this. He shows that I follow Linux. Posts Lumi and Lumi with Archcast, and then she posts stuff from Archcast. And then he posts a bunch of stuff from Akko. Like, Sylvie cannot, like, make a document and not mention me, Under the Tea, Akko, and Lumi. It's impossible for him. He can't do it. It's so funny. But, anyways, chat. So, the big thing tonight is this V&U stuff. Didn't I have V&U pulled up? I thought I did. One sec. I had them up. Da, 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 da. Because I do want to show, like, who we're talking about, you know? I believe this person had it linked in their profile. No, they removed it. Do you do it? Yeah, you still have it. So this is V&U. This is the VTuber agency. It's Virtual and Universe, which is kind of cringe. It's kind of a dumb name. That's nothing specifically against the organization. I just think it's a dumb name. So I actually don't know anything about them. I have heard they were in a previous controversy where they offered a talent a lot of money to graduate, to break their contract. I'm just saying I heard that. I have not had time to look into that, so don't take that as gospel. That could just be completely made up. But this is the first time I've ever heard of them. Nobody's ever brought them up to me before. And Legal Mindset posted this leak. And for those of you who can't see it very well, this is a list of upcoming streams for their talents. Almost all of them are graduations. So March 9th, Spectra makes an announcement. March 10th, Happy Birthday stream. March 11th, Surrey announcement. March 12th, Maeve announcement. 13th, Scion announcement. March 14th, Echo announcement. March 16th, AAA Club's first debut. March 16th, Gen 5's first debut anniversary. March 18th, graduation. March 22nd, graduation, March 23rd, graduation, 24th, graduation, 28th, graduation, 29th, graduation, 30th, goodbye illustration post, and then March 30th, closing of fan Discord, or it says temporary closing of fan Discord. So they're just lots of graduations all happening at once. I believe somebody said it's like their entire 4th generation. I don't specifically know what generation they are, but most of them are from the same generation. I don't know if that means anything. It could not. So now this by itself it could go either way. Like maybe the organization is restructuring and a bunch of them are just quitting, or maybe something bad actually happened and it caused a bunch of them to leave. We don't know, or we didn't know. I mean, I guess, well, technically we still don't know, honestly. Because, but what we do know is that these dates got pushed back from when they were originally supposed to be because of the second leak. So I'm gonna read this for you guys. Here, I gotta pull it up a little better, because I want people to be able to see it so nobody can accuse me of lying about it. So it says, an update on graduations. Hello everyone. As you know, the company's decision on the graduation announcements are being delayed because there is an issue that came up with company investors. The issue is that a potential investor had found out about a supposed leak of talent graduating from V&U. This is affecting the company's case for receiving investment. So upper management has determined they need to buy some time to let this blow over. The plan so far was to announce the graduation of 5 talents altogether before February 11th. The actual graduation streams would take place over the last week of February. However, because of the investors' newly found doubts about V&U, upper management is desperate to prevent those doubts from being confirmed and the investor backing out on the investment this month. The talents who are graduating have been reached out to about postponing graduations by a month. So, for those of you, I assume most of you understood that, but for those of you who didn't, their investor found out they were losing an entire generation and was not going to give them money. So, they decided to ask all of their talents to postpone graduation so they could pretend like nothing bad is happening. I think this allegedly, possibly, might be financial fraud. I am not good with business finances, legally speaking, and how you're supposed to... I know you're supposed to inform investors of basically everything. And if you get an investment from someone and you intentionally kept out crucial information in regards to your business's health, I do believe that is a crime. I'm not 100% sure if this would count. It's like I'm normally good with legal stuff, but business legal is like it's a very complex thing, and it's its own thing. Calling me shocked, the very stupid corporate from a year ago is doing stupid things again. Yeah, so also thank you for the raid, Akko and Temp. Love you both. Hope you had a good stream. I'm sorry your computer wasn't doing well. But yeah, this is kind of blowing up in their face. So the graduation by itself could be a nothing burger, could be a serious burger. We still don't really know why they're all graduating as of today. But the second part blew up in their face. Not good. That could be fraud. It's not gonna go well. So, Rema did a stream on this. Because Rema does news stuff too. She saw the graduation list and she wanted to do a little stream on it, and she did. Obviously, you can see her other stuff. She covered a bunch of other things, because that's normally how she does her streams. But the thing is, about partway through the stream, one of the talents, Spectra, she starts an announcement stream in regards to the leaks. She wasn't supposed to do an announcement stream that day, as far as we know, I'm pretty sure. But she wanted to start addressing the leaks. And Rema saw that, and Rema said, well, instead of me speculating, let me just go to the source and get her take on it. So Rema starts doing like a commentary reaction to Spectra talking about it, so she could try and get like real information on it. Spectra noticed I don't know who noticed. Somebody noticed that Rema was watching, and Spectra immediately sets it to private, so Rema can't watch anymore. And she makes this post on Twitter right after, referencing Rema, saying, please read the caption next time. Please remember to be, or maybe read the caption next time. Please remember to be respectful of the talents. What she's pointing out to in her description, it says, please do not reproduce this stream without permission. Thank you. So I pointed this out on my Twitter, but a bunch of other people have pointed this out as well. You cannot put in your description, I am immune to fair use, and that just be a thing. That's not how this works. She also doesn't understand what reproduce means. Legally, when you say do not reproduce something, you mean do not, like, download it and re-upload it wholesale. That's what reproduce is. Once you're adding fair use to it, and you're actually doing like commentary to it, you're no longer doing fair use. Entirety of V&U was watching Rema because she had Legal Mindset on stream and he was leaking things. The Corpo often watches when people talk about them. They did something similar last year. Interesting. Can I reproduce the stream? I'm not gonna, because I don't have the storage space, but I'm asking. I actually don't mind if people like re-upload my stuff. If somebody is downloading all my stuff and re-uploading it wholesale, I'm gonna have a problem. But like if somebody just really they're worried about like one of my streams getting deleted and they really want to save it, they save it for archival purposes, that doesn't bother me. Just please link back to my video for as long as it's still up. It would be appreciated. But she just says do not reproduce. That's not what reproducing is. Once you add commentary to it, it's not your own video anymore. And again, that doesn't stop anything. So this is one of the V&U talents who said it. Another talent sneaks in here after that, after Rema's thing is gone. Oh, I had it for full. Yeah. This is now deleted. I don't know exactly how long after Spectra's tweet this was said, but another talent comes in and says horse down in reference to Rema. Which is it just looks bad, right? Like, even if you genuinely didn't like Rema's stream, trying to be like snarky and snippy like this is not helping your case. Especially since this is about you guys graduating. Like, you could use this benefit or like this coverage from Rema to try and push people to your new accounts. You could try and use it to advertise yourself, but instead they're trying to shut down discussion about it. And this makes me curious about the graduations. Because if they were actually just graduating and they wanted to continue VTubing, they probably would ride the wave of attention. They're not. They're trying to shut down discussion about it. Which tells me they might be graduating because they might not be the best people. That's not in reference to all of them, by the way. I know one of them has intentionally tried to distance themselves from the other girls being mean girly. So don't just go mess with all V&U talents. Don't even mess with these ones. I don't like it when people go mess with people. Just look from a distance and think they're douchey. Douchey mean girls. But yeah, so that was deeply inappropriate. Following that, there was a particularly spicy tweet, and for those of you who haven't seen it, I don't want to share it yet because it spoils the surprise. I want to show you how VTubers reacted to it before I show you what it is. So I chose this one as an example, not anything particularly against this person because it was very long and it was very very detailed. So, no, whoops. I keep forgetting to go back to Twitter screen. So this person says, I think it's important to remember that tensions are super high when a corpo is going through difficulties. People exaggerate and say things in the heat of the moment. We've all done it. Being in a corpo where you're forbidden from actually speaking about what is happening adds to talent's frustration. It's really important to keep in mind when you and the company you are in is having issues that are being mass speculated on and talked about by the public, by people who know nothing about you or the company, but see the drama as a way to farm engagement. All of this just to say, give creators who are locked into NDAs some grace. None of us know exactly what they've had to endure. I understand being upset by harsh language, but I think all of us have said things in the heat of frustration that we don't mean literally, but have no other way of expressing. And in VTubers' cases, will likely never have to express because they've signed an airtight NDA, making sure they attempt to talk about what happened, they'll get sued. So, this sounds very polite, doesn't it, chat? This just sounds super, calm and reserved. And you know what? I kind of agree with this. Sometimes we say mean things that we don't necessarily believe in. Stream down. What do you mean stream down? Stream's good. As far as I can tell, stream's good. Let me check the stream health. Yeah, stream's healthy. I think it's just you, Kendra. I'm sorry. But it sounds so polite, chat, doesn't it? We just said things in the heat of the moment. We just had a spicy gamer moment. It's no big deal. So what did they say? What did they say that was just a little exaggerated and just a little spicy, chat? Well, they said that we should be hanging and quartering all drama channels. Nobody who's talked about this will share what the spicy gamer moment is. Because when they do, it's immediately like, is that really what you're defending? Now, look, I've said this, right? I said this, right? That, a lot of people kept trying to make all kinds of excuses for this. And I'm of the belief that typically, when you see something bad, you don't need to make an excuse. And I'm going to use an example from later tonight, right? So a bunch of death threats got sent towards Rema and FalseEyeD. And I think everyone knows I don't particularly like FalseEyeD. And what I would say in regards to that is I don't like FalseEyeD, but it's never okay to send people death threats and he shouldn't get death threats. What these people are saying is, death threats are bad, but they're being sent towards FalseEyeD, so I kind of get it. I have unironically had people tell me that those are the exact same statement and have the exact same meaning. They do not have the exact same meaning at all. One is saying, I don't like this guy, but he shouldn't be getting hate. The other one is saying, hate is bad, but this guy probably kind of deserves it. I don't know what these people are on that they think those are the same statement. Why do you not like false again? That's a long discussion. It's way too long. This is just a situation where I can be like, yeah, no, you shouldn't be doing this to him. So this was directly aimed at, Rema, by the way. She immediately pops in... I don't have the picture. I do on my Twitter somewhere. But she immediately pops into Rema's stream chat. And she's like, hey, Rema. Hey, girlfriend. I sent you a DM. Do you mind checking it? And it's like... What? Death threats are bad, however, anything said after however don't mean a thing. Exactly. Once you say death threat bad, but you're making an excuse for it. You're either making an excuse for it or you're explaining why a particular person should have them. That tweet is what I'd call a veiled threat. Yeah, so here's the thing, and because I have a lot of people getting like super mad at me about this when I said it. I do not think this is an actual threat, right? And personally, if somebody said this to me, it would not bother me at all. However, there is a difference between me saying this personally wouldn't bother me and saying it shouldn't be said either way, right? I think like there's a good example is a lot of people get very upset by insults. Insults don't really upset me. Like I get insulted all the time, right? It doesn't really bother me. I just kind of laugh at it and move on with my life. That doesn't mean it's okay to like just constantly insult every random person you see. And I think a lot of people aren't understanding that, or they're intentionally trying to not understand that. Because I see a bunch of people keep saying, oh, what, is Rema and FalseEyeD actually scared that this girl is going to come hurt them? No, they're not actually scared that this girl is going to hurt them. That's dumb. However, you don't have to be scared for your life to say something was inappropriate when it was said to you. I don't understand why people can't get that. Honestly, I think most of them are just lying. I've said worse, but I don't go around asserting it's okay in public. Yeah, I think that's the thing, too, is if she deleted it and came back later and was like, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have said that, that was inappropriate. Like, I could see that. That's probably fine. She didn't do that. But yeah, it's one of those things, like, she just can't accept she said something bad, and other people can't seem to accept that she said something bad. It's very dumb. So you have, like, other people kind of jumping in on it. So FalseEyeD posted absolutely disgusting behavior here by V&U's Tomimi Toria, however you pronounce that. This is why many of us can't attend conventions. We cannot be certain of our safety, and now we have agency VTubers saying these threats. I do think FalseEyeD is kind of a pussy for this one. I genuinely don't think like he has a right to particularly be scared. But they kind of reply to it and says, he never cares when the people he targets with his videos are on the verge of ending themselves due to the hate mobs he sends after anyone who dares to justly call him out. Someone will eventually take their own life due to his hateful words and actions. So this doesn't make any sense. And I saw a bunch of people trying to say stuff like this. There is a huge difference between me talking about something bad you did and you kind of getting the consequences of your own actions from that, and somebody saying, yeah, no, I want to kill you. It's huge difference, waves of difference. And the thing is, this has always been a discussion in like the commentary community for years of you can't control your audience, right? And a lot of times people don't really go to hate on somebody just because they were told to. They typically have to feel like that person is morally in the wrong. It's just not like a good excuse, honestly. And let me pull up the other one because I saw somebody mentioned it, and I actually do have it here. Where is it? I don't know why I didn't pull it up. I didn't think about it. I'm dumb. Because this was a big one, and I saw somebody already mention it in chat. Why is this taking a minute to... There it is. Someone in chat mentioned Blazebug. So they start with... and this was one of the first ones I saw that I was like, are we really doing this? Are we really doing this? They said, I don't ever agree with people being targeted with violence. We are all humans deserving of grace. However... I think everyone who bases their content off the lives of others needs a reality check, especially right now. These girls and the ones who came before are hurting. You are using their crushed dreams for your views, and they are right to be incredibly upset with it. The rumors that run wild in our communities are only further encouraged by these drama tubers, poking and prodding for any info because they want to be the first to have the full story. It's just really messed up. I don't support either side's decision, but I can see how this happened and should have been avoided with common decency. But news will always be news. And then they follow up with, why did that jump down? Doesn't matter if you're just commenting on public things. It doesn't matter if you're not making up rumors. If VTubers need a thicker skin about drama tubers need a thicker skin about people getting upset about them in return. Because most of these drama tubers are not respectful. Because at the end of the day, they are content creators. Yeah, we're all content creators, dumbass. It means you deserve this money. However, you get $5 because I say so. Akko, that's not the $10 you promised me. I thought you were going to send $15. You owe me $20. But DMing us and begging us to consider breaking our NDAs and share our side and commenting and asking your community to keep up and send you stuff about us doesn't feel great. We VTubers understand that at the end of the day, you have every right to do whatever. Just don't act shocked when we finally get upset that you're ruining our mental health by not knowing who is our friend and who may be a spy to get info on your next new hit video. Yeah, everybody... somebody mentioned in chat, everybody keeps saying NDAs. Nobody's mentioned an NDA except random people talking about this. Thing is, when you engage in the platform as a content creator, you agree to be a public figure. Your highlights and lowlights will be broadcast and discussed, even by drama tubers. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people... they really want the benefit of being a public figure, but they don't want any of the downsides. They want to be able to be up on the big screen and be, you know, have a million followers and have all this attention, but they don't want anyone to talk about them. Which is not how that works. You can either be a public figure or you aren't. If this was like leak... Because here's another thing, right? I had a bunch of people tell me, well, it's leaking information they didn't want leaked. This is leaking information about your VTuber graduation. If this was leaking your address or something, I would understand. If this was leaking something about your medical issues, I would understand. If you were a private citizen and this was leaking stuff about you against your will on the internet, I would understand. You're a public figure, and this is a leak about your public activities and your company's public behavior. This was all going to be public knowledge anyways. Yeah, other than the fraud. The fraud was going to be leaked, but everything was going to be public. If you make a free public video live stream that anyone can watch, it means anyone can talk about it without making videos about it. This is like leaking the script to a movie. It's not a big deal. It's lesser than that. It's like leaking the release date to a movie. That's all that happened. The release date of their streams got leaked. Can you please cover up that cute belly button and stop making those cute vocalizations? Can't focus anything you're saying. I can't read the rest of that. Thank you for the $5, though. Like, this is the lowest of the low, like, level leak. It's really not that big a deal. I really don't know why they cared about this. But I saw one that popped up today after all this, which was admittedly the quote best, quote unquote best take on it. However, it still was just wrong. Because it's one of those that the big issue with a lot of people in this is a lot of people are trying to play fence sitter, and they want to be like, oh, well, drama tube are bad, but, you know, death threat bad, but it's not that bad, right? They're like, you know, about equally bad. And it's like, no, they're not equally bad. I would argue that one of them isn't bad. I had this guy Penumbral, who, I have to go to the first one, I guess. Says, I didn't post about the graduation leaks when they happened because I didn't want to attract more eyes to it. Since it seems to have blown up anyways, here's my stance. Leaking and posting that shit was scummy. If someone's graduating, they should at least get to tell their audience. Leaking documents that hurt nobody except the talents. If it's legit, then the agency would have taken a PR hit after the actual grads. If not, you're just sharing it just spreads misinfo. Posting it did absolutely zero good, and the only reason I can think why is for social media numbers. I'll never encourage violent threats, even joking ones, because some people in this community can take things way too far. But I get the divide between news channels and VTubers. So many news creators are number-chasing scumbags and I hate sharing a space with them. So I don't know, like, why everybody seems to really like this guy. This, for me, just sounds like super up your own ass, huffing your own farts. Like, oh, all those disgusting news plebeians. They're disgusting. I hate sharing a space with them. I can't stand people like this. You are a drama channel. Get over it. Stop trying to play high horse. I hate it. He's just so, like, up his own about it. He's a VTuber news channel. Exactly! And then he writes this giant essay, right? And I'm not going to read it because we're going to see it in his video. So we're going to see it in context with everything else. But he wrote this essay, and for some reason he wrote it in his, here, can I pop it full? Yeah. So if anybody wants to, like, I don't know, pause the stream early and read it before we get there, I guess there you go. But he wrote it all in his Twitter messages in just like a giant essay. And it's spaced out too, like that's what throws me off. He didn't just write it as like a paragraph, he just kept putting out random thoughts. Is he mad he didn't cover the story first? I think he is. Personally, I think he's just upset that somebody got to the story before him. I don't know why he cares so much. There's really nothing wrong with it. Like, as far as leaks go, this is the most baby level leak possible. Other than the fraud. The fraud part that came later, that's insane. But the leaking graduation dates, that is... that is baby's first whistleblower. Who did he send this to? I don't know. A friend, I guess? An alt account? Some poor random sap on Twitter. I don't know. Maybe he actually was replying to somebody. I have no idea. So, after all this, he decided to do his stream this week about it. And his stream actually has Niji Sanji in the title. That's kind of important for something that comes later. But he talks about Niji Sanji in his stream for like 5 minutes, and he still gave them like title slot on his stream. Save the nitpicking for later. Trust me, it's not nitpicking. It feels like nitpicking, but it is a huge point that he makes for some reason that he seems to think matters a whole lot. And he says, can't say I'm looking forward to this one. Rather than reply to every Twitter comment, I'll just say all my thoughts in the live will be up in 2 hours. He looks like a Gundam villain. I don't know who this is. This isn't him, though. I think one of these is Niji Sanji, one of these two. I don't know who. And then this is Rema. Most of the stream ends up being about Rema. I would assume the format that he did each bubble is him trying to maintain a bullet point train of thought. That's a possibility. Also, a news channel like Mr. Underhill was. Apparently, Mr. Underhill has gone back to news in his new life, or something close to it. Blue hair guy is the Niji. Okay. But chat, originally, I was just going to cover this V&U stuff, and then we were going to call it a night and be like, awesome. You know, and I was gonna maybe read through some more tweets about people talking about V&U and some of the crazy shit people are saying, because people are saying crazy shit. But then his stream popped up, and like Akko said in chat, I kind of one-guyed him a little bit, because I wasn't gonna talk. I don't normally like touching the drama, but he just started making stuff up at one point, and I was like, okay, let's reel it in, bro. I guess we'll talk about it when we get there. Boop. So it starts, I think, like 4-ish minutes in, because he's got like a starting soon screen. He's gonna be on 1.25, so if that offends any of you, I'm sorry, but he takes a lot of breaks. Looks more like a 5v1 to me. It was kind of a 5v1. Because once I started poking holes in it, like, he started getting a little flustered. But chat, where's my volume? Or my, my music. Because no music for this. We're just listening to him. And let's see where it goes.
Dude, I appreciate it. This BGM is so relaxing. Look, I need something to lower my blood pressure. We're gonna need something to avoid the crash out, alright? And it's gonna have to be music. So, alright. Oh.
Do not reproduce.
Yo, Vian, thank you for the 6 months of membership, dude.
Chat, if he privated it midstream, I would, like, lose my mind.
Kind of the opposite. Hey, chat. Okay. So, it's been a week. It's been something of a week. If you're not in the know, don't worry. I'll clue everyone in once people start rolling in, once Twitch chat gets out of jail. Sorry, I need this moment to just decompress and prepare myself.
Yeah, so random side point. I don't understand why he's so like stressed about this. He's gotten himself way too involved in this. And I do think this is valid. I don't think this is a nitpick. If he is this stressed about talking about an issue that he is having to like decompress before stream, I think he's way too involved in it, and he's got like way too much bias towards a side already, right? Because when I've talked about this before, when I go into like drama and stuff, I don't say like, I try my best to not touch any of it. Actually, in fact, I actually had somebody today ask me like, kind of what are my tips for covering drama, and my first tip is don't. My second tip is you have to be okay, you have to be kind of separate yourself from it, right? Like you can't allow yourself to become part of the story. And I would actually say this probably counts for regular news too, because once you internalize it in yourself, you're going to start breaking yourself down, right? And you're going to start it's going to start affecting your emotions and your mental health, because you're going to genuinely feel bad for people. To a degree, when you cover news stuff, you have to separate yourself from it, because if you allow yourself to feel too much, then nothing happens. You are going to affect yourself very negatively. So I think he probably shouldn't be covering the story if it's actually affecting him deeply. But, you know, that's my opinion. You do what you want to do, I guess.
This shit, honestly, unironically, this week might be... It's one of the most frustrated I think I've been with a community in a while. Like, genuinely. And so... Let's get into it. First of all, there's going to be no... there's going to be no model redeems, at least while I'm doing the big drama shit, right? I might turn it back on towards the latter half of stream when we're dicking around doing whimsical news, but for at least this bit, I don't want to be constantly flipping between, you know, rabbits. So we're just going to be locked in as me. And there's one big drama this week that I want to talk about. One thing that really unironically annoyed me. I don't know why it pissed me off. Yeah, fuck it. I don't know why I censored myself. And for those of you not in the know, which I imagine isn't many of you, it involves V&U. So I should probably timestamp this, just so people that are coming in, and I know some of you probably only care about the V&U drama, and that's fine. So I'll timestamp it, and then once it's over...
Yeah, so some people in chat are kind of mentioning it. Yeah, this is like what got him so frustrated. Like everything I covered at the start of the stream, that is what has him like so flustered and upset. I feel like he's been going down the Underhill route where it consumed him, and he just ended up deleting 98% of the content. Ew, that's rough. Never delete your content, by the way, chat. If you are a streamer, because YouTube gets suspicious when you have like a whole bunch of views just disappear. Just put it on unlisted or private. If you start deleting videos, you're gonna regret it one day.
Slash drama tuber drama. There we go. Once once that section's over, people who are not interested can leave. We start with it. I can't do other news for this shit. I need to get this shit out of my brain now. I need to get it over with. And in the back half of stream can be fucking whimsical bullshit.
Oh, so another thing I've got to kind of point out, chat, is until a little bit further into the stream, you are going to see basically nothing but support for him. It's because he put his chat in sub-only mode, which I think is kind of a coward's act. So yes, chat, when I show up in chat, I did subscribe to him to reply to him, and then unsubscribed right after. Like, no, don't put your chat in sub-only mode. If people want to come in your chat and, like, fight with you, let them fight with you, bro. It's content.
So, if you aren't aware, towards the end of last week, actually on this Sunday when I posted my short, there was a announcement going up from Spectra, and I kind of almost jokingly in my short said, I don't know what this announcement is, but it's white, black text, white background. Generally doesn't work out great. Turns out Spectra is graduating, and I believe Scion also put in their graduation announcement relatively shortly after. But the problem was, the issue with this week's news as a whole kind of stems from one big tweet. I'm not going to show the tweet, because even though most of the shit on it is already been covered and it doesn't really have any more news, just out of principle, I don't want to show it. Basically, Legal Mindset, who you might know is that lawyer dude that kind of came in during the whole Niji Sanji stuff, this line stuff, and started, allegedly giving a lawyer's input on a bunch of the drama. He tweeted out leaks.
So I'm going to have to say this, and this is to him if he ever sees this. If you are going to show or if you're going to talk about a controversial tweet, unless it is a dox or it has something illegal in it, you have to show it. You cannot just tell people, guys, trust me, it's bad. And I'm not gonna, it's so bad, not even gonna show it. That is a shitty way to do your content. That is a shitty way to do the news. That's not how that works.
He essentially tweeted out an entire, almost calendar list of all the V&U graduations, graduation announcements, final streams, and even, I believe, one debut stream, or we don't know if it's a debut of a new live or if it's like a rebranding, but some sort of new project in V&U. He leaked that and tweeted that out. Let's make sure I get my dates and shit right. So he tweeted that out on March 13th, so about 3 days ago, right? And it covered basically everything, including the graduations that happened this week, if you don't know. Besides Spectra, and it was Suri that gave the announcement after Spectra. There was Spectra, Suri, Maeve, Scion, and Echo. They're all graduating. And so it's hard to talk about the graduations because they've kind of been overshadowed by the drama that is kind of spawned from it. But they are graduating, and that's sad. And they each have their own graduation announcements that you can go look up, and I would encourage you to do so to get the talent side of things, regardless of the drama, right? But though they are graduating, and most of the graduation final streams are happening towards the end of March, roughly. So March 20, I think like March 20th through like 30th, roughly. If you're a fan and you want to watch them, I'd recommend go checking out when those final streams will be. But this, which hopefully doesn't surprise you, annoyed me, because it's always been my understanding, at least in the VTubing scene, that the reason we do news VTubing primarily is to expose bad actors. It's to expose, corruptness. It's to hopefully build a better environment for the talent so that agencies can't take advantage of them, right?
So I'm gonna tell you, no, that's not what it's for. The point of the news is to cover the news. It's absolute shocker. No, we are not like some watchdog organization, bro. We are not fighting the corporations. I don't know why everyone tries this to say this stuff. So, you're a force for good because you cover the drama. No, you cover it because it's interesting, because people are fascinated by it. If you go into drama thinking that you are going to be some kind of watchdog that is going to fix stuff, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Because I'm telling you right now, between me, Alara, False, you, Mr. Underhill, none of us have ever changed anything these corporations do. None of us. We are a blip on the radar to their bottom line. They do not care. Literally, none of them care what we've done before. Most of them don't even know our names. The only reason they know False is because False has collabed with people. Most of us, they don't care about any of us. Also, when you get into this mindset of we need to cover news to be like a force for good, somebody mentioned it in chat, but you basically start becoming propaganda. You kind of start molding your stories to have like a specific bad guy. And we've seen this in the past before, right, with call-outs, where everybody covered a call-out and they made it a very black and white, here's the victim, here's the villain. And most of the time, that's just not how it is. Sometimes people are in like very messy relationships. Sometimes people put themselves in dangerous situations. It's very complicated. And you can't make it into this mindless good guy, bad guy dynamic. You can't make it into this we're doing something for the industry. It's just not how it works. So I would say to him that he is already doing this for the wrong reasons.
And so leaks are something you have to be very, very careful with, because there are times where a leak can hint at an unsavory workplace environment that otherwise wouldn't get out because the talents are, they have their hands tied by NDAs, right? However, this post, this leak, served no purpose. It didn't add any information that was really relevant that wouldn't have come out already. Like, the girls were literally just about to do their graduation announcements. This shit was getting announced within the next week anyway. The only thing that this did was take away the agency from the VTuber, not the agency, like agency isn't the actual thing, like their ability to, decide make their own choices, right? It took what should have been a moment that they could communicate to the audience to say, hey, here's why I'm graduating, here's what's going on, you're my community, you're my audience, I have the ability to tell this to you because it's my fucking decision to graduate. He took that out of their hands. Their graduation became mostly about drama. They didn't get to communicate. Only, I believe Spectra and I guess Suri and Maeve got to do theirs because they had their announcements before March 13th, but I believe those were the only ones, right? So he took the ability of each individual talent to kind of say to their audience, hey, I'm graduating, right? And that, to me,
So he's trying to say that this is bad because the girls didn't get to do it themselves. He also says that it served no purpose. He has intentionally not mentioned the second legal mindset tweet yet. He has not mentioned it on purpose. And I want to go back to it because I want to communicate something to you guys. The purpose of this tweet was to show that the leaks were legitimate, right? So the entire purpose that this one got leaked is because it had a bunch of dates on it. So it was leaked before this stuff started happening. That way, when this stuff started happening, the person who leaked it could say, see, I'm telling the truth. I gave you a bunch of dates in order, and every date has come true. That is the purpose of this one. So then he can say, clearly the leaker is telling the truth, so you can trust this piece of the leak more legitimately. Because we've already seen that some of the stuff they're saying is accurate. And at this point, it was from the 9th to the 13th, all of that had been accurate. I'm not sure if the 13th came true yet, because I don't remember exactly when he released it on 13. But the entire point was to just show the accuracy of the leaks. I actually mentioned this to him at some points in chat, and he refuses to accept that as an answer. He insists that they serve no purpose at all whatsoever.
I know, thank you for the membership, dude. That to me is the opposite.
Oh, and also this whole agency thing, this is dumb. These events were planned like a month in advance, and as I've had somebody show this to me, most of the talents were already doom posting all month. So everybody knew they were graduating. They just hadn't announced a specific day, so like none of this matters.
Of what news VTubing should be. It should ultimately be to the benefit of the talents. There's no point doing news VTubing if you're going to post something that, in my mind, explicitly hurts the talents. This doesn't hurt the agency. The agency was always going to take the reputational hit from the graduations. Posting this extra info did nothing. There was the second leak. The second leak is a different story. He posted another leak. This was like a day after, by the way. So everybody had already had their fucking quote tweets and everybody already had their big reactions and shit like that, right? The second leak that came about, I believe it was about 24 hours later, was essentially like an internal memo in V&U. And this is one that personally is a little bit, again, I'm always iffy on leaks, right? Hey, Sino, thank you for the membership. I'm glad it could be your first membership. This detailed the talents having been told by V&U staff to sort of push back their graduations a month because the investors had found out about all the graduations and weren't happy and they wanted to push it back to try and still get the investment. Now, again, my major issue with leaks, primarily, is that there's no fucking way to validate them because they're always...
See, this is the thing. He immediately says there's no way to validate them. The first leak was the validation. That was the point of the first leak, to show evidence that the person with the leak was telling the truth. Now, could the person lie about the second part of the leak? Yeah, the person could lie about the second part of the leak. But a person can lie about anything. As a reporter, you have to do the best due diligence you can to confirm your information. And if you confirm enough of it, and then somebody lies about the second part, you're not really responsible for the lie, because you did as much due diligence as you could. Like, he's so dumb.
An anonymous source. I actually DM'd Legal Mindset after he tweeted this being like, hey, do you have a source that like I can cite for these leaks? Because otherwise it's just a trust me bro, right? And he didn't. He had an anonymous one that he wanted to protect from V&U or whatever. And so he's talking about news and like all this. He's basically trying to get at ethics. Yes, protecting your anonymous source is a part of ethics. It is required that you expose your source. Like you expose your source to yourself, right? You have to confirm them as best as you can. You have to, I think a big one is a lot of people ask for like ID badges or something. Sometimes you message the business and you're like, hey, did this person ever work for you, kind of deal. But yeah, like messaging him and like, hey bro, who's your source? And he's like, I can't tell you, they're anonymous. And again, the entire point of the first leak was the validation. You don't need to know who the source is to see that the source has reliable information. That was the point of the first leak. But this guy's an idiot. He can't like process that. I don't like leaks primarily for that reason. I don't like untestable info. It's just floating out there. There's no way to validate it, right? I also think it's a very risky thing to start getting into because it can start hurting talents and but it's also, I do think it has its place. Some of the most important info we've gotten about agencies, some of the ones that we've told us, hey, this agency is bullshit, have come from leaks, especially from past talent. So it's the second memo, the second leak, is definitely a little bit more here or there, right? The best way I can describe it, it targets the agency itself. It doesn't target the individual talents. It doesn't put the talents in a bad light. It puts the agency in a bad light. And it details information that otherwise probably would have been hidden from the public and never gotten out. It is something that while I probably wouldn't have leaked it myself, and I don't know how I feel about it 100%, I can understand the motivation, if that makes sense. But the first one, the one that he led with, the graduation timetable, whatever, had no fucking reason to be leaked. Absolutely zero. I don't understand. I don't know why he did it. Or I do know why he did it, and we'll get into that.
The reason he claims later, the reason he did it was clout. And his evidence for it being clout is because Legal Mindset said it was looking pretty Niji Sanji. That's why I mentioned that he has in his title here, New Niji Sanji Jin, which I don't know if you can see it here. Yeah, it's like the very end of the stream here for like 10 minutes. So yeah, if he put Niji Sanji in his tweet for clout, then I'm pretty sure you put it in your YouTube video for clout. He doesn't care about the innocence in the agency. You have no power, but the talent, he'll cry for them. Yeah, that's like his entire argument this whole time. And I promise, I'm not trying to poison the well, but I've already watched this, and it is extremely frustrating to watch. He keeps trying to pull but the talents who had their feelings hurt. I don't care about their feelings. I genuinely don't care about their feelings. I care about the truth more. They can choose not to be hurt by this. Like, there was nothing in that leak that hurt them. they chose to be hurt by it. I'm gonna die on that hill.
But this led into Rema, who's another sort of news content creator that you may know. Rema took to YouTube. She live streamed on YouTube I can pull that one up actually, because that one, well, it has the leaks in the thumbnail, but again, I don't think you'll be able to see them. I'll keep it minimized on Twitter. But she took to YouTube with this. Let me actually pull this up for you guys. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, we're switching scenes. She took to Twitter, or took to YouTube with this stream. This stream is now gone, by the way. It is no longer there, so I can't pull up any clips or audio or anything for you, unfortunately. So again, it's another.
Side note, this isn't him. Well, we found this out later. Rema's stream was taken down because she watched a video by a YouTuber channel called Jubilee. And apparently Jubilee is very aggressive with striking videos. I don't know much about Jubilee, and for obvious reasons, I'm not going to search it on stream because apparently they strike videos a lot. But that's what got Rema's video taken down.
One of those things, but I roughly have an idea of what went down. She was talking about, well, you can see, she was talking about a bunch of different news topics, but she also talked about the links, right? The graduation links, and also the other links, right? I believe, again, it's hard. I can only judge based on what I've been told because I wasn't there for the stream, and it's always a risky thing when you're like looking at who said what 24 hours later when you don't have the primary source. But from what I understand, she was theorizing about V&U and about their graduations, and is it still available on Twitch? Man, I didn't know that. I did not know she multi-streamed.
Yeah, so he admits he didn't watch his stream, and he admits that he's getting secondhand information about what was in it. Why didn't you ask Rema? You asked Legal Mindset who his source was, but you didn't ask Rema what she talked about on her stream. You didn't even check her Twitch, right? Like, this guy does no due diligence at all. And he calls himself like a news reporter doing for the greater good of the talents. At least I sit over here and I admit I'm a drama channel and I just like sipping the tea, guys. I'm doing the greater good, guys. Also, minor complaint, his chat is really weird. Like on the bottom there, you can't see anything anyone's saying.
Thank you for the info. Fuck. Nobody told me that. But regardless, point being, she was sitting there speculating about V&U, looking over the leaks and the graduation. Spectra had already had her graduation stream, and I believe she streamed Scion's graduation stream while streaming this stream, right? So she pulled up Scion's graduation stream mid-stream, and I believe a fan of hers submitted timestamps to sorry, let me just pull my notepad up so I can get on my facts right. She had timestamps for Spectra's graduation that she pulled up and flicked through and talked about, and then she also pulled up Scion's stream live, right? This went messy. Spectra, I believe, took down her graduation stream. She privated a bit, right? Spectra privated her stream mid-stream because she didn't want Rema reacting to it. And she took to Twitter to, let me see if I can pull up Spectra's tweets really quick.
So I'm going to go ahead and say this really quick. So this is something else he gets wrong, and he's going to repeatedly get this wrong throughout the entire video. Is he claims that Rema was watching her graduation stream. Rema was not watching her graduation stream. She had started up a stream to talk about the leaks and it was titled like an announcement stream. And she was talking about everything that was going on. That is why Rema was watching it. Rema was not reacting to her graduation stream. And he says it this... Now, you would think that maybe that's just like a slip of the tongue, but no, this is crucial to his argument later on when he's talking about Rema doing something wrong, is he really hones in on it's really scummy to like snipe somebody's graduation stream while they're getting all emotional and crap. No, it's not. He gets this wrong right at the start and nobody corrects him at all. I wouldn't show up for like another 10, 15 minutes, so I would have corrected him if I saw it.
Let's see. Sorry, there's a lot of tweets. She took to Twitter with this, saying, maybe read the caption next time, please remember to be respectful of the talents, and pointing out that in the description it says, please do not reproduce this stream without permission, right? Which obviously since Rema was reacting to it on stream, she felt violated that, so she privated it in real time. Rema's stream obviously also got taken down by something because it's third-party audio or video content. I don't believe that was Spectra, just based on my knowledge of how content claims work, generally the agencies behind it. I don't even know if V&U is behind it. I have no info on how or why that content got claimed. It might have been V&U, it might not have been, I don't know. So this led to a whole discussion. It was Jubilee, okay. Regardless, I don't think people started going back and forth. Jubilee watch along the anime one. Okay, so it didn't have let's see. If it's public, can't stop it. Okay, this started a whole fucking debate. And I mean, you can go into the replies of Spectra's tweet and see people like that, right? So Science says here, please give us in our community a little bit of space and basic respect, which is kind of what I want to highlight in here. But there's a lot of people in the replies of being like, hey, the laws, fair use supersedes your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. And they're right, unironically. I do believe that probably what Rema did on stream probably does fall into the confines of fair use. If it was within, again, if it was within the confines of criticism and news and spreading information, it is probably legally within the rights. But legality is not the basis of your morality. It shouldn't be if you're above the age of 5, right? There's a difference. You can be completely within your legal right and still be in the wrong, right? And so yes, while Rema might have been legally in the right, morally, there's a certain level of, if the talent doesn't...
So you're gonna see this a lot, chat, where he just gets completely flustered and talked up because he doesn't actually know why he believes what he believes. And I push him on this stuff later when I start asking him some questions. He has no reasoning behind anything he believes in this, like, quote, moral assumption. He just says, morally it's bad, and you shouldn't do it. Why is it morally bad? Have you thought about this at all? She's covering an announcement. It is news. Like,
want their live stream reproduced. They probably don't want it being reacted to. They probably don't want it being clipped for content, right? They probably want it to be a private moment between them and the community. And the respectful thing to do is to, you know, listen to that and not show it on stream. However, Rema said she didn't see the description and it was an honest mistake and she was probably just trying to get context. I don't necessarily think Rema was malicious. I don't think she went out there and saw the description and was like, fuck it, I don't care, and did it anyway, right?
I would have said, fuck it, I don't care.
To live stream the one that I think is a bit more iffy to me is live streaming a talent's graduation stream on your own stream while it's happening. Feels a little bit disrespectful. It feels a little bit in bad taste, to me at least. You know, the Spectre thing, when she said in the description she didn't want it reposted, is one thing, but doing it live as well is, to me, a little bit in bad taste. It's not something I would do. And so, in my mind, this was a relatively minor infraction in the grand scheme of things. Probably something that could have worked out between two content creators. I will say, I do not think either Spectra or Rema wanted it to get to this level. Rema, she made a second stream where she said, let's talk, right?
Just so we're clear, Spectra definitely wanted to get to this level. Spectra and a couple of the other talents were egging this shit on. They were eating it up because everyone was, like, loving it and defending them. Yeah, and he keeps saying, I wouldn't have done this. Nah, you would have done it. You would have done it if you got there first. I kind of feel like you're a scumbag, buddy. I'm sorry.
This all blown up. And the first thing she said was she made a mistake. She apologized for that mistake. So she acknowledged that the streaming of that content was a mistake on her part. I don't think we need to argue this, whether it's fair use or not, legality or not, right? Yeah, Cyan was live. I know Cyan was live. That's what I'm talking about. I said the Spectre thing is one thing. The Cyan being live while she live streamed it is the more iffy thing to me morally, because I think that's I don't know. Live streaming a talent's graduation, like, it just feels weird to me. It feels a bit disrespectful.
So I'm sorry if that was a little too fast, chat, and you missed it. But he is immediately, just because somebody in chat said it, changed the entire argument. At first, because he hasn't done any research on this, so he doesn't know what he's talking about. I will admit there's probably, like, some little mistakes I'll make here and there. Like, someone in chat corrected me that she was not reacting to a live stream, she was reacting to a pre-posted announcement. Which, yeah, that's my fault. He is saying that she's reacting to Spectre, and then somebody mentions Sino is doing a live thing. And then he says, yeah, it is disrespectful that she stream sniped Sino. It's like, she didn't. We're talking about Spectra. He just immediately changes entirely. He's going to do this multiple times. Somebody in chat is going to say like a random thing, and he's just going to tack it onto his argument without ever double checking it. And the way I will give him this, he has done this enough to where he is able to work that into what he's saying to make it sound legitimate. But if you pay attention, like, he just changed what he was saying. He changed his argument completely.
To infringe on a talent's live graduation stream with their community and be like, oh, what's going on over here, and react to it. I don't like that personally. But I don't think it needed to blow up this bad. Rema said she made a mistake on her her second stream, and I think it could have ended there, right? However, a series of unfortunate fuck-ups led to this blowing up to a level that it really shouldn't. It was a graduation announcement, but it's still like a moment between. It's a moment for the talent to explain to her community, hey, this is why I'm graduating, this is how I feel. Graduation announcements are often pretty emotional moments for VTubers.
See, somebody gave him new information that he didn't have. And instead of acknowledging that he had got something wrong and he had been continuing this whole tirade with wrong information, he just slots it into his information. He's like, no, the announcement is just as important too, guys. You don't understand. The announcement is huge and it's deeply emotional. Additional information: at the time when the stream got privated, Rema wondered if they had just taken the stream down to edit something out. At no point did Rema care that they took it down. Fair. But yeah, you can see like how this guy acts, and I don't understand why people like him if this is how he does his content. Because as he's getting new information, he's not acknowledging that it's new. He's just slotting it into what he's saying and pretending like he already knew it. That's not okay. You have to acknowledge when you didn't know something. You have to acknowledge when you're getting corrected by somebody else.
It wasn't live stream, I'm talking about Sion's live stream. Sion was live while Rema live streamed. They both live streamed at the same time, and Rema peeked in on Sion's live graduation announcement. Spectra's was a VOD that she then privated while it happened, right? So legally, I don't think she's in the wrong. Morally, I think it's not necessarily the best thing to do. Ultimately, I don't think it would have blown up to this level. I also just realized I've had this on screen for far too long. I don't think it would have blown up to this level if it wasn't for the monumental, fucking unbelievable levels of cuckery that went on afterwards, right? So, following this...
Come on, show the tweet.
A few comments made. So, Spectra said...
Show what the comment is.
And I believe... Let me pull up...
Come on.
This other...
The people need to know.
Tweet. And we're going to talk about this tweet, because this tweet is probably one of the biggest things that annoyed me. Let me really quick grab it so I can give you the full context, right? So, here is Rema's reply, because Tomomi, who I believe made maybe the dumbest decision and is completely out of line, and I feel like we need to establish this first, right? So, Rema said she wasn't going to address this, no tensions are high with the company, and I didn't mind being a punching bag to a certain degree. However, this is going too far, so I'll be addressing it on stream, right? And Tomomi decided, in her brilliance, to tweet out, why do journalists never do the bare fucking minimum anymore? That tweet, I think is fine, whatever. I think a lot of quote-unquote journalists in the scene don't do the fucking bare minimum and just put out slop. I've said this before.
Yeah, like you are actively being told by chat how to do your own reporting. You have not done any research on any of this. This is awful. I'm sorry I torture you guys with this, but I hate people that do this. And they try and, like, get up on this high horse. Like, no, you don't understand, guys. I'm so good. I'm the good journalist. I'm the good one. It's like, no, you're not. You are the slop. You are so much content slop. Your chat has to correct you, and you just slot it in whatever you're saying.
But hanging and quartering all dramaturgists is out of line, right? When you have an audience, you need to be really fucking careful about what you say. You have to take so much fucking care with anything you say, because you might be making a joke. You might be saying something in frustration, in tongue-in-cheek. Your audience might not. And we've had proof time and time again in this fucking VTuber community that people are batshit insane, right? And something that you say in a reply might encourage your fucking audience to go and send more legitimate death threats to other people. It's a bad precedent to set. It's a bad part of the community to feed into. You shouldn't do it. It's unacceptable on any fucking level, right? So this was unnecessarily escalated the entire fucking situation. She never directly says that she's targeting Rema, but in the grounds, I think maybe she's targeting fucking legal mindset. I don't know. But regardless, if it is targeted at Rema, and even if it's targeted at legal mindset, neither of those deserve this level of fucking, like, physical threats or I don't know if you could technically classify this as a death threat, but it's definitely teetering on the fucking line, and it's definitely still unacceptable. Right?
Oh, so I do have to point this out because this is something you probably saw with some of the tweets I covered, and this is something you hear a lot with other people, is they talk about how you shouldn't be bugging the talents for information, right? They're huge on you shouldn't be bugging them for information. And then the first part of Tomomomi's tweet is, why do journalists never do the bare minimum anymore? Okay, which is it? Do you want us to bug the talents for information because we're not doing the bare minimum of like pestering them for info? Or do you want us to leave them alone and report on just what we have? She never said it's about Rema, but it's a reply to the tweet talking about the most awesome stream snipe. If it's a reply to that, it probably is. I will say I have not seen anybody provide me a screenshot of where it was said. So I can't confirm or deny where it was said. Given the time frame, because Rema's stream happened days after the Legal Mindset tweet, I think it's very safe. Not days, but like an afternoon after the Legal Mindset tweet. I think it's very safe to say it's about Rema. She was even in Rema's chat during the stream.
Right. So this caused a whole upsurge. People on the agency side were like, oh shit, the gates are open, and they started becoming a lot more, like the anger started spiking. And then other news VTubers contributed, right? So tourists would imply people that are watching it, it's not targeted, but it definitely feels like vaguely about the situation. But I don't think it matters who the fuck it's directed at. It's not a good vibe to put out there, right? So this went out. This amped things up to 11 because then other people got involved. Other people like False. So False tweeted out about this on main. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick for you. Here. So False tweeted this out. Absolutely disgusting behavior here by V&U's Tomomi Toroya. This is why many of us cannot attend conventions. We cannot be certain of our safety. And now we have agency VTubers saying these threats. I don't think this is an... Okay. On one hand, it is feeding into the drama machine that's pumping up and escalating things. Nobody in the VTuber community ever fucking de-escalates. De-escalation is not a word in the VTuber community. It's something that you need to learn, right? Like, if people have the opportunity to blow things up, they will. Now, False, I know for a fact, False gets a shit ton of death threats. False...
I'm going to say, I know a lot of people are going to kind of disagree with me on that. So what he said is that people need to learn to de-escalate things, right? I'm going to say no. I think with your friends, with family, and with small issues, it is perfectly okay to de-escalate things. But if somebody is turning it up to 11, I will not blame you for burning them to the ground, right? So something my great-grandfather used to always say is that you should never start a fight, that a good man does not start fights. But if somebody drags you into a fight, you need to make sure you're the one that finishes it. I kind of adopt that thinking moving forward. I think there are levels to it. I think some dumb kid like slapping your knee doesn't require you to like deck them in the face, right? But if somebody is going to take like a really heavy swing at you, don't just walk away and de-escalate, because they're going to just keep doing that to other people. You need to teach them that, like, no, this is not good behavior. You're not allowed to do that, and just walk away from it. You know, I don't care if you have to play dirty with it. Agreeing that the fight is over is also ending the fight. Depends. Because if somebody hits you in the face and they're like, oh man, I don't want to fight anymore, fight over, and walk away, and you agree with that, you're just giving them like carte blanche to do it to more people. And you're just being a doormat, honestly. Because then somebody else can just hit you in the face too and be like, oh, well, fight over, done. I don't want to do this anymore. The reality is a lot of people really want a fight until they get hit back. And then suddenly it's, whoa, 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 this is not cool. I would say as long as you got to get a hit back in, you are free to end the fight after that. But don't just take hits. It's gonna be nothing but make you a doormat.
Gets maybe some of the most death threats in the community. Like False's content or not, I know for a fact that man gets some shit in his DMs. So I understand him calling this out, because this isn't some random 4chaner on Twitter saying this shit. This isn't some fucking nobody, right? This is an established creator with an audience, putting this out there as an acceptable thing to say, it's not a good vibe, right? So I get why False tweeted this out. Do I think it helped? No. Do I get why he tweeted it? Yes. Regardless, it did not de-escalate the situation, and then it fucking spread everywhere. And all of a sudden there was two lines, right? You were either on the drama tuber side or you were on the fucking agency side. You had to pick your side, and then everybody got really fucking mad at each other, right? And so
I've said this to a couple people, because I've had a couple people tell me this is a very gray morality situation. My response to it, because he's trying to do that now, right? He's trying to be like, oh, it's very gray, and there's two sides to it, and, you know, like, some people are on, you know, the drama tuber side, and some people are on the talent agency side. My response to that is a lot of people don't seem to remember that in shades of gray, on one end it's very white, and on one end it's very black. And black and white, for all intents and purposes for this analogy, are shades of gray. So it is completely possible for a situation to be almost as black and almost as white as humanly possible. And trying to fence sit that and force everyone to call it shades of gray is just allowing bad behavior. Because when you have somebody on one end that's as good as possible and somebody on one end that's as bad as possible, and you say this is shades of gray, you're taking reprehensible behavior and you're downplaying it, and you're taking perfectly acceptable behavior and trying to make it into a negative. This is like jaywalking and then getting hit with a brick because jaywalking's illegal. Basically, yeah. Like, you're not helping the case here.
people like Parrot, Rema, False, they were all on one side, and Drama, and they had their fan bases hating on V&U and blah, blah, blah. People on the agency side all of a sudden also went far into that side and started hating all drama tubers, and more death threats got said and blah, 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 right? Yo,
thank you so much.
Lolo, thank you for the super chat.
Oh, I'd like to point out that something he mentions here constantly was that they caused hate to V&U as a whole. I know it's kind of small and you can't see it. False never mentions V&U in his tweets. It doesn't come up. So people that are hating V&U are intentionally seeking it out that way. False didn't say, I can't believe V&U lets people do this. He said, I can't believe like this person did this. He targeted a specific person and a specific thing they did. I don't like him, but that's about as black and white as you can get of being like narrowly tailored, right? And he's trying to make it like, oh no, it blew up in this whole thing attacking all of V&U. It probably did later because some of the other talents started chiming in and making themselves look like assholes. But that's not False's fault, that's not Rema's fault, and that's not Legal Mindset's fault.
Sharing your POV
no problem. So anyway, this shit blew up, right? And all of a sudden, every fucking YouTuber under the sun is talking about it. Everybody has a quote tweet going. It's gone, right? Everybody's saying, oh, V&U, the talents of V&U are sending death threats. They hate VTubers so much, they're sending death threats. And people on the V&U side, the agency side, are still pissed that their fucking graduations got leaked and that. Again, I sent some DMs to somebody kind of summarizing why I think this blew up. I'll get into those at the end, but let's keep trucking, right? So this led to people like Parrot. And I want to say, Parrot might be like the third highest villain for me in this saga. Some of you might like Parrot. He's very popular. Some of you might be fans. I want you to, even if you're a fan, try and view this tweet as objectively as possible. Yo, Country Bumpkin, thank you for the sub, right? Because in my mind, this tweet is like unashamedly misrepresenting the information of the situation purely to make it a more drama-rich environment.
So, I'm going to say this, chat, and I did say this earlier. I kind of made this joke, and I'm sort of referencing this when I made that joke, of I'm not going to poison the well, guys, but I don't like this guy. So he openly says, Parrot is the third worst villain in this. I want you to look at this with no bias, but he is evil. And it's like that. You are poisoning the well and then telling people that it's not poisoned. It's so dumb. I can see what he's trying to do. There's three villains. So he says that Parrot is the third worst villain. And when he says third worst, he means the worst. He says Legal Mindset is the second worst, and Rema is the first worst. So Rema is the least evil, Legal Mindset is in the middle, and Parrot is all the way at the bottom. Why is he bringing in Parrot in all of a sudden? Because he can't make like a coherent story. It's weird, because I can tell that he had a story planned out with this for his argument, but then he just kind of runs all over the place with it.
Alright, so I'm going to show you it, and I want y'all to just like read into it unbiasedly, right? Tomomi V&U saying that my friend Rema Evans deserves torture for making content on your Collapsing Company, and then deleting the tweet is very brave. Okay, I also want you to try not to cringe, because some of this is a little bit what the fuck, right? Fine, I understand being mad that somebody basically put out death threats, maybe targeted at your friends, like, whatever, right? This shit pissed me off. Misma V&U and Spectra V&U also joining in support of the co-worker looks cool. Also, real quick, Misma, so Misma's tweet is here. Misma tweeted horse down, probably maybe in reference, she deleted it as well, so the fucking receipts are hard to find, but the important thing, we'll get into that.
You guys are gonna love it. You can already hear what he said there. One of the talents, just after Rema's stream, tweeted horse down. For those of you who don't know, Rema is a horse VTuber. And you can already hear him making excuses for why this tweet isn't about Rema. Here, let me scoot back an inch so you guys can hear this. He is already making excuses for why this tweet has nothing to do with Rema.
Worker looks cool. Also, real quick, Misma, so Misma's tweet is here. Misma tweeted horse down, probably maybe in reference, she deleted it as well, so the fucking receipts are hard to find, but the important thing, we'll get into that.
Probably, maybe in reference. I mean, receipts are hard to find. What? Not anymore, she's a fox now. Everybody calls her a horse. Everybody calls her a horse. Everybody knows who this was talking about. But you can already hear him. Maybe possibly about Rema. Like, this was when I got really mad at him, because I was watching it at this point, and I was like, why can't you just say that's bad? I don't understand why you can't just be like, yeah, that was a bad thing, they shouldn't have said that. Why do you have to make all these excuses? Sometimes it's okay to say, yeah, that was bad, she doesn't deserve like so much hate, but she shouldn't have done that.
Just a quick side note I forgot to bring up earlier, and this isn't like an accusation or anything, it's more just me being confused. On Rema's like reply stream, like her second stream, the 18-minute one, she said that fucking Misma was a Spectra alt. She kind of said it offhandedly, but she said it, I don't know if it was a misspeak or if she has like proof of that or like where that came from. Like, Misma is a separate talent in the agency. I don't see any evidence of them being an alt for Spectra. I don't know where that came from.
I like that he really harps on Rema about getting this one thing wrong, and he mentions later that she said it one time and that it was probably her misspeaking. You got stuff constantly wrong in this, and you constantly got corrected on it. So I don't understand why you're spending so much time on this, other than to distract from the fact that this is clearly a tweet about Rema.
So it might have been a misspeak. It was a bit strange. She only said it the one, so it might have just been like, I don't know, but it is weird. So if Rema has any like further context on that, I wouldn't mind knowing. However, continuing on, Misma and Spectre joining in to support the co-worker looks cool. So I guess I should, okay, this is probably more of a mask off situation than fucking anyone, right? Because this, I think, details how Parrot apparently looks at his content and how he looks at agencies. I guess I should farm you for content myself as well. Dealing mentally ill sisters is kind of my thing. Not a good sentiment to put out there. I'm not gonna lie. Calling actual human women mentally ill and farming them for content, just not a good fight to put out. Can you?
That's drama, bro. I'm not saying that's good. I've said it before. I think ultimately you should never touch the poo, as it were. But that's how like some people have done content for years. That's the entirety of like lolcows, basically. Mama Akko for 2, I'm gonna say it, Pin has autism. We're not diagnosing people on chat. Evening as a clopper, I feel honored Rima is being known as Uma Musume. Yeah, it's like he's just kind of going all over the place with this. He doesn't really know what he wants to say about it. I'm not even convinced he read this tweet before stream. In fact, he mentions that out of all the tweets I showed you guys earlier, you would think that he was probably talking about Parrot's tweet for some of it, considering how much time he's giving it. he mentions that he did not see this tweet until like a minute before stream. So he brought this up without like having time to really ruminate on it. He had just now saw it. You should kind of like read through your stuff first before you try and give a ton of opinions on it. Just saying.
Threaten me too. You know, I'm Colombian, so you're going to have to try a bit harder to impress me. Can we keep up the attitude so we continue to laugh at you? Please don't tell me you're going to fold just like your company. Continue to entertain my community little clowns who are great content creators. First of all, that may be the most cringe sentence I've ever fucking read in my life. I'm not ironic. It reeks of fucking tough guy attitude. I don't like it. It's weird. But regardless of this bottom bit is more just flexing his muscles, whatever. It's not really relevant. I just think it's a bit of a weird mentality. The biggest thing I want to point out, the biggest fucking, like, thing that I think is important, he says, Misma and Spectra also joining in support of the co-worker looks cool. I want you guys to pay attention to the fucking timestamps of this. 24 minutes, 23 minutes, 16 hours, and when's this? Oh, the timestamp isn't in this one, but this is when Spectra first fucking private eater stream. This shit, these two tweets happened before this tweet. They were not in support of it. This tweet didn't exist when these two tweets went out. So framing it as if they made these tweets, like he deliberately cut out the context, right? He deliberately cut out any context surrounding these tweets. He posted them after the top one. So if you go on mobile, this one's on the left and this one's on the right. So it looks like this came first and this came second.
So he is exceptionally dumb for everything he's saying here. I'm not going to go out like to bat to defend Parrot. I don't know Parrot, and I think his tweet is pretty cringe. But he's trying to say, this tweet came then, and this tweet came then. We don't know when any of these tweets came, based off just what we have right here. 2 of them are deleted now. They could have been back to back. We'd have no idea. Like, we would just not know. Because he's like, well, this one says 23 minutes ago. You showed that earlier in the stream from Rema. That picture has been shared by like 500 people. That exact same picture. Because as far as I can tell, this is the only proof that she tweeted this, is this one picture. Nobody else has it. Nobody else has it archived. And then the second one from Misma. Hers is also deleted now. Nobody knows when that happened. So he's trying to say like, this happened now, this happened then, this happened then. Parrot didn't take a picture of any of these. Other people took pictures of these. These are just the only like surviving pieces of it, except for the Spectra tweet on the bottom. The Spectra one is still up. I showed that one earlier. That one's still currently live. She's apparently proud of that one.
And the way he phrases it is joining in on support. He's deliberately misrepresenting the fucking situation to make it look like she made the fucking death phrase and these two replied backing her up on it, which is entirely not what fucking happened. It's such a flagrant it's deliberate misinformation. It's not even like a mistake. He deliberately went to separate threads, cropped the tweets out, and put them next to this tweet to make it look like they were replying to this tweet, to make it look like they were supporting the sentiment of the original tweet. And nobody's fucking calling him out. He has 2.3k likes on this. People are just fucking... What? You see what I mean about this maybe being like... Take issue with this tweet 100%. It's fucking bullshit, right? I will shit on this tweet, the sentiment, until the end of time itself, right? But deliberately making it look like 2 other talents backed up this sort of violent tweet is fucking misinfo. It is deliberate misinformation, purely designed to make it look like multiple people are sending death threats, just so he can do this fucking tough guy act and then go on to try and farm them for content. Because one talent speaking out like this is just a bad thing. It's a bad talent doing a stupid fucking decision, right? 3 of them doing it represents a sort of collective idea of like violence and anger, right?
So I would point out that in Parrot's tweet a little up there, it did not say that they were supporting violence. It said they were supporting their talents, which I do think Parrot's tweet does create like the appearance that these two are a part of it. And that's why I said I don't like Parrot's tweet. I don't really like people that make tweets like this. Again, I don't really know Parrot. I don't know his history. I don't know like how good his stuff is. So I'm not passing like a huge judgment on him. I don't like this tweet. I think it's cringe and gay. And I think these should have been 2 separate points of like this talent said this crazy shit and these 2 talents are just being petty snippy bitches about it. I think that would have been better, personally. But we don't know like when these happened. And yeah, this is still like a collective thing. All 3 of these talents are talking about Rema when they do this. They are all being snippy mean girls to Rema. Are they degree of mean girl? Yeah, they're degree of mean girl. They're not all equally as bad, but they're all doing it. it's a collective effort, and it sucks, and they shouldn't be doing it.
And so I've seen the sentiment now around this situation so frequently, right? Of, oh, well, the V&U girls, they spread they send death threats. The V&U girls clearly don't, they aren't capable of being content creators. They aren't able to take criticism without resorting to death threats because...
He's not going to provide proof of any of this at all. This is just not going to happen. He says that everybody's saying this. Parrot is as close as I saw to somebody saying it. In fact, most people are just in support of V&U. Even some of the, like you saw, he showed False's tweet earlier. False's tweet only had like less than 2,000 likes on it. There are people like the Blaze one I showed. Let me go back because I still have it up. It's almost at like 1,000 by itself, and they're not even remotely close to as big as False is. And there's some tweets regarding this that get up. I think there was one I saw earlier that had like 8,000, 9,000 on it. Most people are on V&U's side. So this like, oh, everybody's saying this negative stuff about V&U. I haven't seen any of it. And you're not going to show me any of it at all during this entire stream because you didn't look any of it up.
So many people now believe that all three of them backed up this sentiment when it was just one. And this is why I don't understand how in all these fucking replies and in all these fucking people, none of them are like calling him out on his bullshit. I debated doing it myself, but at that stage it was close to the stream when I saw this shit, and I was like, I might as well start the stream and just talk about it live, but I don't like, you see what I mean? All these tweets were done around the same time. No, these came first, and this came second. These came out before this one came out. And they were not in reply to each other. They weren't related to each other. And Spectra even put out a fucking tweet herself.
Just so we're clear, he doesn't know any of this. From what I understand, the Tomomomi tweet probably did come after. He doesn't know that. He is just making it up because it suits his argument in the moment. And I think that's more of... it's more indicative that he's just making this up as he goes than whether or not he's actually correct, right? The fact is he didn't know. He had no idea. And he's just like, oh, I'm just going to make it up.
Spectre put out this tweet saying, my tweet was made at the start of the situation before anything else occurred. Please know I was unaware of any other tweets being made and I had no part in them. I do not and never have condoned hatred or wishing violence upon anyone. So Spectre made this tweet because she made her tweet like first when she took down her, like this, maybe read the caption next time, is from this. Like he cut out this. It is from like the original tweet she made when she took down the stream. This is just after Rema finished her stream. So
he's reading chat, by the way.
Not like, and at the very least, the way he frames it makes it look like it looks like this was said, and Inspector replied, maybe read the caption next time, all snarkily. And it's from, you know, it's... Now, you can say horse down, I think, is still in bad taste, and I do think these kind of snippy tweets are not in the best interest of anyone. I understand Spectre being mad about it. If she's well within her rights to speak about it. I do think if you're gonna start saying shit like this, you're inviting arguments and you're inviting comments, and unless you're able to like actually stand and like debate and like put your full sentiment out there, it's just it generally starts conflict, right? But these tweets are out. You can say these are dogging on Rema and you can take issue with that if you want, but they're very different. They're almost a fucking galaxy apart than this, and conflating them is just straight up misfucking info.
Also, yes, chat. He is... When he's having these long delays now, this is about when I show up, and he's reading my messages in chat. I don't know why he gets, like, so upsetty spaghetti at me. Akko joked about it in DMs with me, but I kind of one-guyed him, where he stops reading other people's chats, and he just, like, hones in on what I'm saying and just grills into it.
Everyone thinks he's biased here? In what way?
Yeah, I said he was being biased.
This is the shit that annoys me. They were all at Rema. Right. But there's a difference between a snippy comment made at Rema, which, hey, you might argue is in pure taste, whatever, and this. Very different. And making it look like they were all in support of this sentiment is unfair. So, tweets being deleted opens up problems with the timeline as people don't know what came first or what came later. I can tell you, the Spectra tweet came before everything else. The horse down tweet, I asked around, I believe it was, I think it was in reference to Rema's stream getting taken down. I don't know though, because it's deleted. I don't think it was in reference to this, and I know for a fact the Spectra one wasn't. And putting it together like this, as if all three of them are in some sort of agreement with each other, is misinformation. Give me tweets on stage, you almost saw a tweet right before stream. This doesn't help your case very well. What case? I'm not making a case. I'm saying that this is deliberately misinformation by putting these tweets together and acting like they're the same tweet. No, it's not a case. It's just facts.
I love that. He's replying to me right there. I said admitting that, I basically said admitting that you just now saw this tweet before stream is not helping your case. It's like, I'm not making a case. This is just fact. Okay, look, let's talk fact. If we're going to talk fact. Because I don't like doing fact, right? I like being accurate. I don't necessarily like just reading off the facts and calling it a day. Because the fact is that Parrot did not say that either of these people were wishing death, like he's saying. All he said was that they were joining on support of their coworker, which they were. They were both factually joining support of their coworker. Being accurate is saying that, like, yes, I do think Parrot kind of wanted to conflate these issues together to make it look juicier, to make it look like a better story. But the fact is that's not what he did. I think for accuracy's sake, yes. And that's why I'm kind of calling this guy out. You claim that, like, you're all about the facts, but you're not. You're about, like, spinning this cute little narrative. Because you don't want to admit that, like, sometimes as adults, we have to read into things, right? We can't just go by exactly what we're told, because people lie, people are dishonest, people leave out information. As an adult, we do have to make some assumptions about things. And you don't want to do that. You want to pretend like everything we're being given is absolutely everything, all there is to see. It's not. There's a lot of context, there's a lot of argument, there's a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes that you probably should have read before stream.
Anyway, point being,
he's waiting for me to reply, by the way.
Misinformation. This tweet, fucking reprehensible, unexcusable bullshit. The Spectra Rema situation is... I do think Rema was out of line, as I said before. I don't think that's with good taste to... whatever. I don't think it was in good taste to live stream other content creators' graduation announcement while it was happening, right? So that's a whole separate issue. And I do think that the Rema Spectra thing would never have blown up if it wasn't for this dumb fucking tweet here, and then this tweet here, and other tweets kind of amping it up, right? So, point being, this shit annoyed me more than anything, right? You're trying to like everyone doing this in your tweets, but now it's only parrot, and you haven't even seen it at the time you made those tweets. I had seen this at the time I made those tweets. I'd seen the situation. This tweet specifically, I didn't talk about parrot in my first tweet. I'm talking about him now because it annoyed me.
You see how quickly he did that? Here, let me scoot back, because I'll play it at regular speed so you guys can hear what he said. Because he, in real time, immediately changes his argument as it comes out of his mouth.
It was everyone doing this in your tweets, but now it's only parrot, and you haven't even seen it at the time you made those tweets. I had seen this at the time I made those tweets. I'd seen the situation. This tweet specifically, I didn't talk about parrot in my first tweet. I'm talking about him now because it annoyed me.
I call him out for having not seen the parrot tweet, but seemingly in his tweets, the way he was talking, the only person that was as bad as he was claiming was probably Parrot, because Rema hadn't done anything like that, and Legal Mindset hadn't done anything like that. And his response to "you hadn't seen the Parrot tweet" was, "I did see the Parrot tweet. I mean, I didn't see the Parrot tweet. I saw the situation, but I wasn't talking about the Parrot tweet, actually." This is what I'm talking about with this guy. He just immediately, on the fly, realizes he just said something blatantly wrong and just swaps it as if nothing happened. Like, no, you just tried to lie to me. You caught yourself before you finished your lie, but you did try to lie to my face. I don't know why you thought you could get away with that. It's a recorded stream.
There's a lot of people doing it.
Sloan for 200 ARS. I'm so proud of my granny Oshi has upgraded from reporting on drama to being the target of drama. Also, Parrot is a humble Niji farmer laughing at corpo and individual idiocy. I doubt he has ever pretended to be a journo.
Parrot was the only one that I saw that was legitimately spreading, in my mind, misinformation. Falsey's tweet was... I don't think it helped. I don't think it... I understand why he did it, because he gets death threats a lot. Parrot's tweet was... I mean, Parrot gets death threats a lot, and I'm not trying to take that away from him. But this shit is misinformation. Either way. Regardless, I think the main issue with this whole situation is that it's so tribalistic, right? You are either on the drama side, or you're on the agency side, and you've got to pick your side and defend that side until you're like your dying breath. And if you can't admit that this sentiment right here is misinfo and deliberately misrepresenting two people who didn't make that sentiment, if you can't admit that, if you can't see that, I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know why you're so ingrained in your own community that you can't step outside it for a minute and agree that this kind of tweet is fucked up, right?
Yeah, Penumbra. Like, you can't just say, this is fucked up, it's okay that they reported on stuff. No, you have to sit on the fence. You have to pretend that there are two equally bad sides. Like, that's something people forget. The fence is a side. You can't say, I'm not taking either side, I think you both suck. Yeah, you just took a side. Not taking a side is saying, I'm not commenting on this, I'm not getting in this argument, you guys sort it out among yourself. But when you sit in the middle of the two sides and say, I think you're both wrong and here's why, you have invented a third side. You have decided to be a third side all by yourself. People do not understand that. Is saying both of you suck is not taking a side. It's taking a third side. And it annoys me that people don't understand that. If you don't want to take a side, stay out of it. Go sit in your corner and leave everybody else alone.
So, regardless, moving on from Parrot. The Parrot thing annoyed me, and I think he's a big reason why misinformation was sort of agree Parrot's tweet is bad? Okay, cool. So, I think the Parrot tweet is the reason why a lot of the sentiment around this changed, because I've seen in my tweets specifically, especially recently, especially over the last, I don't know, well, since I woke up, so the last day or so, right? I've seen a bigger and bigger sentiment of people replying, acting like every single V&U talent is in some way related to the death threat thing. Suddenly, the entire agency is full of evil fucking VTubers and you shouldn't support them. And even the whole Parrots thing here of like, I guess I should farm you for content myself, mentally ill sisters just kind of my thing. Targeting Spectra, who this tweet wasn't in relation to the threatening of Rema at all.
Where? He said it again. He said, I've seen tons of people in response to Parrot's tweet saying they all support death threats. Where? Who said that? Like, that's the biggest issue here, is he keeps saying there are worse people out there saying worse things. Yeah, well, you're not talking about worse people. You're talking about Rema, you're talking about Parrot, you're talking about FalseEyeD, and you're talking about Legal Mindset. And let's not, like, play games here. You are talking about these people because they are big accounts. You are choosing specifically to talk about these people and not any of the other supposedly evil people, because the other supposedly evil people are 1 follower accounts with 0 likes. You are not going to get attention to your news channel talking about nobodies who nobody cares about and everybody is ignoring. Like, that's just the reality of it. I guarantee you the only people that have tried to say the whole organization supports death threats have no following at all.
It's perpetrated throughout the situation, so now that people that are against V&U are against the talents and think it is free game to go on the talents because the talents all ganged up on Rema and sent her death threats, right? Which isn't true. And it's led to this uncomfortable situation where we're in right now, where I sent my tweet out. I'll show you guys my tweet. Okay, so my first tweet was this. And again, I want to go back to this because I think it's important to get context here. I don't think, the one thing I will say, I don't think Rema deserves the level of fucking vitriol that she's getting. I don't think Rema's the biggest villain here in any fucking sense of the word. Biggest villain to me is fucking,
So I pointed this out to other people, but I want to point this out now live on stream so it's clear. You can't say, I don't think they deserve the level of vitriol they're getting. You are establishing immediately when you say that there is a valid level of vitriol to send her. And then you're immediately saying, she's not the worst villain. So if we're going to talk about like what message we're conveying to our chats, you have just conveyed to your chat that there is a valid level of vitriol that you can send Rema, and that she is a villain that does deserve that valid level of vitriol. If we're going to talk about responsibility and stuff, that is you saying that's okay. And you will never address that. He'll never address it. He just skims over it. But he'll call out other people for saying stuff like that. He'll call out other people. He'll nitpick them for stuff they say on their live stream. But he'll say that openly, and it just, straight over his head. Doesn't care.
the biggest villain to me is, no, there's Rema. The biggest villain to me is Tomomi, who took this situation and elevated it into an actual, like, threats of violence and shit like that. That to me is inexcusable. I don't think that's cool. I've obviously condemned it as many times as I can. The second biggest villain to me is Legal Mindset, who leaked the thing in the first place that I don't think should have been leaked. I don't think it was his place to leak that first leak of the graduation things. I don't think it was his place to take that agency away from the fucking talents and not let them be the ones to break the news to their audience, right?
So this is something I haven't seen many people talk about, is where did Legal Mindset get the leak? Because if it is a valid leak, which we are 99% sure it is, the only person who could have got him the leak was an employee or a talent that wanted that information out there. So the question then becomes, do we want to do what talents want us to do, and which side of the talents do we have to listen to? Because if we have to listen to what the talents want, we have to release the leak, because the leak was given to him by somebody in the organization that wanted it out there. This is why I don't like when people say this, and he puts himself in an immediate catch-22. It's impossible to make everybody happy. And his entire stance is, we have to make all the talents happy. That can't happen. Somebody is going to be upset. Either the person who leaked it is going to be upset that it's not being shared like they wanted, or the talents are going to be upset that somebody leaked it. You can't have it both ways. Somebody's going to be upset. And he doesn't think about this. Nobody I've seen talk about this has really mentioned this. That, yeah, the source wants it out there.
I don't think that was cool of him. Right? I think this also just turned the entire situation into this annoying... This happens a lot on the internet, right? Where somebody will do a bad thing. They'll fuck up. They'll do a thing like leaking the documents, which I think was genuinely a horrible thing to do. Somebody in reply to that, or in reply to the Rema thing like this, will make an even worse thing, like a death threat, or a violence, or a fucking slur, or racism, or something like that, right? And that thing is horrible. It's bad. It sucks. And we should condemn it in the strongest possible terms, right? But all of a sudden then, the vision flips away from anything that happened before to the original fuck.
Oh yeah, you guys can kind of see me in the bottom there. Now I'm behind the thing. I just replied to him, why is it bad? And somebody in chat mentioned this. Since when have we said leaking is immoral in the first place? That's what I asked him. I just said, why is it bad? Because he had not given a reason for it. He just kept saying, leak bad, leak bad, leak bad. Why?
You can no longer talk about the original fuck up, because every time you try and talk about it, people will be like, oh, so you don't care about death threats? So you think that's worse than death threats? And it's like, no, I don't. I've condemned it already. I'm trying to talk about the other thing. And that entire discussion gets shut down because you can only talk about the second thing. You can't talk about the first one, because when you talk about the first one, people are like, oh, well, you condone death threats? No. Why is it bad? Because it hurt nobody but the talents. It wasn't a reflection on the agency. The shit would have come out eventually when the talents announced the graduation, right? that information would have already been out there. The agency would have taken the reputational hit regardless, right? And it would have been entirely in the open without that leak. Hurt them how? The talents are upset about it, fucking obviously.
I love that. I say hurt them how, and he goes, they're upset. Okay. Plenty of people are upset at you. There are people upset in your chat. There are people upset on Twitter. There are people upset at Rema, at False. There are people upset at the talents. How is they're upset? Like, just, oh, it's bad because somebody's upset about it. Fucking okay. I don't care. It's so dumb.
What do you mean? The talents themselves are obviously upset about it, otherwise this entire situation wouldn't have happened. What do you mean so?
I one-guyed him so hard. That broke his brain. Yeah, I was the one in chat that said so, that he just read out. He just, like, you can see it on his face, even through the model. He cannot comprehend that somebody doesn't care about his feelings. He is absolutely just lost it. Like, they don't care how I feel? But they're a stranger on the internet that I don't know. What do you mean they don't care how I feel? Yeah, I've said this before in the past. This applies to niceness and respect. I do think you should give like a base level of niceness and respect to most people. However, they are not owed your niceness or your respect. People that are owed your niceness and respect are your friends, your family, and people you are close to. You do not have to care about every single random asshole's feelings, because everybody is going to have different opinions completely separate from your life. You could talk to somebody who morally is like the worst of the worst scumbag of the earth. Why should you care about their feelings? That's the thing with strangers, is you do not have to care what strangers think about you. You shouldn't go out of your way to be cruel to strangers, but you don't have to care what they think about you. If somebody comes up to you and says, hey, what you said offended me, the only valid response is, who are you and why do I care? You should not care about what strangers think about you. It does not matter.
You asked me how it hurt them. I said they're feeling hurt, and now you're saying so? If someone
I don't think feeling hurt counts.
No, but if the only end result of posting a leak is the upsetting of the talents, why fucking post it in the first place? If the entire goal of being a news VTuber is to ideally help the talents.
Yeah, so I wasn't here for the start of the stream, so this is the first time I have heard him say the purpose of a news VTuber is to help talents. The purpose of a news VTuber is to report the news. It's in the name. Report news. News VTuber. Look up what news is. Like, look at a definition of it in Merriam-Webster. It is nothing about activism. It has absolutely nothing to do with activism.
I don't understand. The entire purpose, the entire thing that we're meant to be on the side of is we want better results for the talents. If you're going after the agency, I don't fucking care. Go after the agency. Fight for better environments for the talents. Fight for better workplace. But if the only end result of posting a graduation schedule is that the talents get hurt by not being able to post their own graduation announcements and nothing else, why the fuck did you post it? The only thing I can think of is that you posted it for number farming and clout. That's the only reason, and that is a big
He's still talking to me, by the way.
YouTubing now is that nobody actually gives a fuck about the talents. Nobody cares about justice. Nobody cares about the talents. Nobody cares about the truth. People only give a shit about Twitter number go up. And so they post shit, and everybody quote tweets it, and everybody rushes to reply because everybody wants to see number go up, and nobody actually stops to be like, hey, I wonder how this affects the fucking talents. You can't define how it hurt them past. Some of them didn't like it, and if that's your only argument, then this stream hurts streamers. Ergo, why you're doing this? Because my stream isn't a leak of confidential information that wouldn't have gotten out without my explicit action. I am.
Yeah, so now we see the justification. I said, okay, if hurt fifis matters, well, the stream hurts Rema's fifis, so why are you doing this stream? It's like, well, I'm not talking about a leak. Okay, so if it's a leak and it hurts fifis, then fifis matter. But if it's public and it hurts fifis, then fifis don't matter. This is why I don't like these people, is because they pretend that they care about your feelings, that your feelings matter, that your feelings are something that's deeply important to them. And then when you ask, well, how come you don't do that for your stuff? suddenly it's, oh, no, 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 it's okay when I hurt your feelings. Like, your feelings are already out there and they're already hurt. Who gives a shit about your feelings? You cannot keep up with your own, like, what do you call it? You have standards and you just can't keep up with them. At no point. Like how he's more mad at you than the person who basically told him to end himself. Yeah. He is getting so frustrated with me so quickly. And you guys have probably noticed this. This entire stream, he hasn't replied to a single person in chat. And then I get in here and he is replying to every single message I send. I have no idea why I have this power, and I choose to use it for evil. I don't care why I have it, but God gave it to me and I can use it however I want.
Commenting on public things that happened. I'm not saying that just because you hurt someone, that all content you make hurting someone isn't allowed. Something a lot of people try to claim, but it's not true. If you make content and it hurts someone else, you're under no onus to take it down or not do something just because it hurts someone's feelings. But if you're leaking confidential information and you are the primary source for something and you acknowledge that the only end result of it is that it will hurt the talents and you post it anyway, that makes you a cunt.
So I had to call this one out, and I had to call this out on a couple people. So he will shift his argument slowly on the hurt Fifi's thing. So originally he just said that the posting it hurt them. But now we're getting a little bit closer to his real opinion. And I'm gonna scroll back so you guys can all hear exactly what he said, because he immediately is starting to tell little lies. He's starting to sprinkle them in because he's starting to realize that his opinion isn't holding up.
But if you're leaking confidential information and you are the primary source for something and you acknowledge that the only end result of it is that it will hurt the talents and you post it anyway, that makes you a cunt.
If you are leaking information, you are the only source for that information, and you acknowledge that the only purpose is to hurt the talents, he is changing it now. He is now saying that Legal Mindset acknowledged that the only purpose of these was to hurt the talents. He's shifting the argument because now Legal Mindset isn't just releasing information. Now Legal Mindset is trying to hurt them. He is slowly weeding that in there. And I believe, and I'm not going to spoil it, it comes later when I anger him a little bit more. But you can see his real opinion is slowly starting to come out. He's slowly starting to change, like, how he talks about this.
I'm not saying you should have your channel taken down. I'm not saying you should be silenced or whatever, but it makes you a fucking asshole, and I'm going to call you a fucking asshole. I just don't understand why you would post something like that if you know it's only going to hurt the talents, other than because you wanted the fucking clout. That's the only reason I can think that you would do it. The second leak is of a different story. It is information that would not have come out without the leak. The graduation list would have came out with or without leak in due time. And it's information that directly attacks the agency and doesn't attack VTubers, doesn't take agency out of their hands, right? It's a different situation.
Thank you. Red heart emoji.
Yo, Vian, thank you for the super chat. It's an entirely different situation that I think could be argued because there are important times where leaks have helped the wider community understand maybe what's going on behind the scenes at an agency. The first tweet, the first leak, did nothing. It shared no insight into the agency. It shared no information that would not have been available literally like a week later. All it did was make it so that the talents were not the ones to break the news of their own graduation to their community, and it swept their entire graduation announcement up in this overarching fucking drama.
I just want to say, this is like such a non-point, but for somebody that said that he was going to turn off all his redeems because he wanted this to be super serious, I like that his gamer subs thing pops up constantly. He's super serious, but every couple minutes you say, get 10% off your gamer subs, and it's a picture of Shy Lily in a bikini. Oh, bro. For me, that's not personally an issue, but I just love when people talk about how serious they're being and they forget to turn off redeems like that. He's reading chat, by the way. That's why he's so quiet. He is, like, honed in on me right now. I love it. Now he's drinking.
I made a tweet after this because somebody reached out to me and asked me like, hey, why do you think this is blowing up so bad? Why do you think people are so fucking in their own feelings about this, right? And I made this tweet. VTubers also received harassment, hate mail, and death threats through Mars, emails, forums. Oh, everybody involved in this situation, I imagine, has received some form of death threat or harassment. It's not on the same level as an active, like, when you have an audience, you're held to a higher standard. If you have an audience, you're an active talent, and you send out shit like that, you are tacitly saying to your audience that that's okay, and you're encouraging them to go and do the same shit, and it ends up with this whole fucking widespread bullshit, right? It is a different thing than private assholes sending death threats. But yeah, no, everybody's gotten death threats over this, right? Anyway, so I made a tweet afterwards kind of summarizing my feelings.
I'm gonna say this. This is not to, like, downplay anyone that's gotten death threats, because obviously other people have. I have had, like, the entirety of VTuber Twitter calling me the worst names ever. And I can count the number of death threats I've gotten on, like, one hand. Proper, I have had thousands of people in, like, an hour calling me some of the worst names you've ever heard. On one hand, I can count how many death threats I've gotten. I do not believe people get as many death threats as they claim. I feel like people get mean words in a DM, and they call it death threats. I don't even get that many mean DMs. My DMs are... I'm one of the few VTubers that keeps my DMs completely open. And I occasionally get a mean DM every, like, couple months or so. Most of what I get is, like, spam bots. I genuinely just don't believe people are getting all these DMs. Because I've blown up proper among VTubers for all the wrong reasons. Barely get any of this hate that everybody else reports getting. I just don't buy it.
At the time about it. Secondly, later showed the company was scheduling graduations as a way to defraud investors. I already went over that earlier in the stream. We talked about it and I said it was a different context. I don't understand. If you wanted to post the first one, post the first one. We'd be having a different discussion.
Yeah, so I didn't, because like I said, I didn't get to see the start of the stream, so I didn't realize that when he talked about the first one, he did not mention that it was defrauding investors. He kind of skimmed over it really quickly as if it was a nothing burger. He says, there may be something there. So when I reply to him, I say it's to show that the second tweet is real about defrauding investors. He's like, oh, I already covered that. So just so we're clear, Mr. Penumbral, no, you did not cover it. You skimmed the shit out of that. That was huge context. You didn't show it to your chat. You didn't read it to your chat. You didn't even really explain what was said in chat. So, no, you didn't tell it to your chat. You were intentionally kind of covering that information up. Because that information was directly tied to the graduations and why the graduation dates were important.
If you want to post the second one, post the second one. The first one, in my mind, served no fucking purpose. I don't know why he didn't just lead with the second one. It's the same situation. The first leak did not detail anything about the company. It only detailed the times that the graduation announcements and graduation streams were going to happen. The only people that hurts is the talents who are going to be graduating, who now cannot communicate with their audience when it's going to happen. If you're so fucking obsessed with the information coming out, why didn't he just wait until after the talents had already posted their graduation schedules? It was happening that week.
Because then we wouldn't be able to validate the information. If he releases the dates, and then the dates come true regardless of what he released, that means that that information was correct. If he waits until after the dates are released, and after the graduations are done, people can just say, oh, he just made this up. Because, like, look, he waited till after it was all done, so clearly he had all the dates ready. You're a dumbass. How can you not, like, how would you call yourself a news VTuber and you haven't, like, logically thought through this yet? I don't understand how you haven't logically figured this out yet.
First leak gives validity to the second one. No leaks are valid because you can never fucking cite the source.
Somebody told me that I was wrong when I said that he said this. No, he just randomly goes, no leaks are valid because you don't have a source. That's not how that works. Leaks are based on leak validity is based on a whole host of things. The number one being the person who is reporting on them. If they are a large news source that typically has, like, good information and typically releases accurate leaks, then yeah, it's probably accurate. Check TMs. Akko, if you sent me a death threat, I'm on stream. Oh, wait, no. I think you meant Discord TMs. Sorry. Da 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 da. I'm gonna have to sit down and like read through this in a minute because there's like a lot of random information. I don't want to like distract from my current stream I'm doing too much. Like I know this is related, but yeah. The point of preempting info that's about to be released as a valid leak is to defeat a post hoc argument. Exactly. But yeah, the validity of leaks is based on a lot of things. The number one is who's giving them to you, like who's reporting on them. Are they a valid reporter? Have they done it very accurately well in the past? The second one is how much of the leak is accurate. If they're getting like information wrong consistently, then they're probably making it up. And then I don't know, I think that's about it. The third you could argue is, are they giving information on who leaked it? Typically you don't want to do that for a leak, but I guess if somebody's okay with being outed as the rat, then maybe that adds a little validity to it. Personally, I think if somebody tells you they're the rat and they want to publicly be known as the rat, that might actually hurt the credibility a little bit, because they might be trying to damage somebody in the organization.
There's always a trust me, bro, because there's no source accountable for it. And even if it gives validity,
yeah, see, he changes it, because he goes, well, even if it does give validity, after he went through this whole rant about how you can never trust sources, he immediately backs up and says, wait, if it does give validity. I do not like this guy. I don't know why people do.
And even if it gives validity, in my mind, that is not a sufficient enough reason to post something that actively hurts the talents, the people that you're meant to be fucking going after the company for. If giving this information, if putting it out there is for the explicit purpose of getting the talents better conditions and making sure they're not getting taken advantage of by a scummy agency, why would you post something that hurts the talents?
To validate the next thing, which is something that would hurt the talents, that their company is defrauding people, committing financial fraud, in fact. Allegedly committing financial fraud to investors. Sorry. I already don't agree with him that the first leak is inappropriate. I think you can leak anything. I set out my criteria earlier. Don't leak people's personal information. Don't leak people's private medical stuff. And don't leak information on people who are private and not public figures. Those are my main criteria on leaks. So I already don't agree that this leak was a problem to start with, but he is making it so much worse by refusing to see that the leak was a two-parter, and the first leak is required for trust on the second leak.
I don't understand. It's such a... People get so obsessed with drama and going after the drama and hurting the agency and targeting them, and they get so in their own head about, oh, agency bad, oh, what did Need You do, or what did this company do, or what did this agency do? And they forget that the entire fucking reason that we give a shit about this stuff, and the entire reason that we talk about this stuff and make news, is because we care about the talents behind the scenes, and we care about their fucking mental health, and we want them to have a better environment. If you're posting something that explicitly just hurts the talents, you clearly don't give a shit about that, and you're only chasing numbers and clout.
Yeah, I will say it here now. Yeah, I do care about numbers and clout. I am the talent. This is my show, and I would like more people to watch my show. I'm not going to go out of my way and be malicious about people. I'm not going to lie about people. But I'm not going to hide juicy information because somebody's fifis are going to get hurt. Unless somebody is in actual danger, I am not hiding information. Unless I have a genuine concern that somebody I'm talking about might be hurt, I am not going to hide information. And the fact that you're sitting here being like, yeah, I'm going to hide information if I think like somebody's feelings are going to get hurt. You can't be trusted as a news source at all. You have admitted to people that you will hide information based on how many feelings you think it will hurt. That is not okay. Avenged for $5. I mostly watch shorts on YouTube and recaps on what happened in VTubing of the week. Yeah, I think a lot of people watch a lot of these guys like in shorts and not through their tweets or follow them on Twitter, because a lot of the stuff they say on other websites is wild.
Anyway, this was my DM summary of why I think this went as viral as it did. Disagree actually hurts the talents. If anything, I think it would most have likely helped the talents by signal boosting the graduations. That's not your call. It's not up to you or to Legal Mindset to decide, hey, I think this will help the talents and I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, it is our call because we're the news reporters. That it's literally our call. It's our shows, our channels. The information was given to us because we were trusted. Like, I know that's something you probably don't experience because I'm assuming you don't get brought much private information. I've been brought tons of private information from people talking about different corporations. And people trust me with it because I never reveal their names. I never, like, leak very specifically what they said to me. I keep all of their information very private. I try and change things around a little bit in unobtrusive ways so the corporation can't track them. I recently had to help multiple people like hide some of their messages with me because the corporation was looking for them. That's the stuff you have to do when you're actually reporting on something. That is the one time I have actually tried to report on something. And you have to take it very seriously like that. You can't just pull this like flagrant like, oh, it's not your responsibility to look into this. If people are telling you not to do it, you shouldn't do it. No, you have to make a call on it. You have to like, you have to push for it, really. Or else all you're ever going to be doing is reporting on people's sloppy seconds. You're not doing the news at this point. You're just kind of around. You exist. Isn't he also making the personal call that it would hurt the talent as well? Why is it only good in one way? His excuse is the talent are saying they're offended. That is his entire excuse.
It's up to the talents. It's their fucking right to tell their community when they're going to be graduating. Anyway.
I think this is about where I check out.
Somebody asked me like why I thought this skyrocketed as fast as it did, right? Sure, I can try my best. I once again said that the extreme reactions are out of line and I don't support them. And then I said the reactions to this are probably a straw breaking the camel's back. It's the biggest example of a news content creator posting something with zero fucks given about how it affects the talent. The entire point of our content, ideally, is to report on bad actors and agencies so they can't just hurt talents however they want. Wanting better for talents is literally the main thing most news creators say they want. But posting that leak was to the active detriment of all the talents. It had no benefit to it. The info would have been released regardless by the talents themselves when they felt it was right. It's the case of someone posting something not to help the talents or to spread info that might have been kept hidden, but purely for sensationalism, for numbers and clout, or just to dunk on an agency because they can. We've seen this with Niji and other agencies a ton. They suck 100% and deserve to be critiqued, but people take that as a blank check to do whatever the fuck they want because Niji bad, even if it means hurting the talents. So yeah, VTubers as a whole are probably sick of drama tubers farming them for views and clout and then hiding behind journalism whenever it's convenient. It's not even touching the fact that I believe the leak also spoiled an upcoming debut. It might be a rebrand, we don't know, hurting someone that wasn't even a part of the drama in the first place. So, now we're in a situation where people like Parrot are actively saying they're farming the V&U girls for content, where the general public sentiment from what I've seen hasn't just swung against V&U as an agency, they've swung against the talents as a whole, right? The sentiment I've seen online, and from what I know, talents are getting death threats, as probably everyone in this fucking situation is. The sentiment is against the talents and not the agency, because it seems a ton of people think that fucking everyone in V&U is now just sending death threats to people, right?
This is just him making stuff up. He has no evidence of any of this. And he's just like, yeah, no, you don't understand. They're just, people are just sending death threats to the talents. Who? Where? Where did anybody say this? And why aren't you covering them? Why are you only covering the big people who didn't say that? Is it because the big people actually get views, or is it because the little people don't actually exist? Go on, I'm curious.
And I just don't think, I think overall this could have been handled with so much more fucking tact. Not to mention that in the initial leak, the first thing Legal Mindset does is compare V&U to Niji Sanji for no real reason. Which is another thing news content creators like to do, is even if news doesn't involve Niji Sanji at all, they know that Niji Sanji gets the most clicks, so...
Do I need to say anything else? You should not cover Niji Sanji for like 10 minutes in a stream when you're gonna make that point. You sound like such an asshole. I can't. Also, I don't know, like, when he talks about it, is it right here? It has a thing called good news, so maybe it's in here. But in his tags, he also has HoloLive as his top tag. I don't know when HoloLive pops up in this.
They throw it in. They throw it in the title, they throw it in the thumbnail, even if it's completely unrelated, because they know it's what drives views and it drives engagement and blah, 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 right?
Somebody calls him out on the Niji Sanji. I think he's about to read it.
The stream title is entirely... The Niji Sanji thing will come later. It's another piece of big news. My stream titles always concern 3 topics. It just happens that the V&U graduations and the drama tuber shit was both this week. The Niji Sanji shit we'll talk about later. It's unrelated to this situation.
When I do it, it's good. And again, you can see it. The little pip is right here. Starts at 129, and then it ends probably just before stream. Yeah, so 129 to 142. So he talks about Niji Sanji for like 10 minutes in a 2-hour video. And he puts it in the title. Come off it, bro.
But it's also big news. I'm just following the same format I've always done. Rema getting shit for the legal mindset leaks is also, yeah, fucking annoying. I don't know why she became the main target of hatred in this bullshit when legal mindset should 100% be the one receiving the most slack. Anyway. So, let me see. Let me look at my notepad. Should I hit the timestamp for the stems, both the drama tuber and V&U things? I combine them together, yeah. She's the one that got called out. Like, I said Rema deserves some criticism. I do think that initial stream was in bad taste, but I don't know why she's being, like, dragged as hard as she did when... Like, again, like I said before, I don't think Rema's stream initially was the best. I think it was maybe in poor taste, and I wouldn't have done it myself. But I feel like in any other situation, we could have a pretty calm, like, measured discussion about it. But because of the whole death threat thing and the legal mindset thing, it's been amped up to 1 million. But a lot of that 1 million amp up is being directed back at Rema when I don't think she necessarily wanted it to get this far.
You know, my little Penumbra fella, maybe Rema's getting a ton of shit. Because every time she's talked about, including by you lead with, death threats aren't okay. However, they did something wrong. I don't know if you guys understand how however and but work in the English language, but typically when you say however or but, you're saying that the first part of the sentence is not entirely true, and the second part of the sentence is going to be a clarification on why the first part is not entirely true. Maybe you guys are just dumb and you don't understand that. Maybe you're malicious and you do understand that, but you're ignoring it because it makes you look a little bit better. I'm not accusing you one way or the other. I'm just saying you need to consider that if you actually do care about this whole feelings thing and how you speak to your audience. Because I'm tired of hearing how much you care about people's feelings and how much you're really careful with how you speak to your audience when you're just not. You don't care. You very blatantly don't care.
I think my first impression of V&U from alien mixtures termination controversy. I would say I don't have the greatest impression of V&U. I'm not defending the agency here. In fact, I don't think I ever have. The agency, as far as I know, and if that second leak is valid, it's not a good look for them. It doesn't look great. And I wouldn't go to bat for them. But I will go to bat for the talents. And the talents are the ones being dragged through the mud right now.
Why, though? Why go for the talent? Because so far, 3 of the talents have proven that they are snippy bitches that will be like absolute assholes to get their way and to try and feel good about themselves. So why do you have this mindless support for the talents? Please, enlighten us. Is it just because they are talents? And if it is, how come other VTuber talents, you know, the dreaded drama tubers, news tubers, why don't you have it for them? I don't understand. Why aren't you nice to them? Why aren't you give them the benefit of the doubt? Why aren't you careful with them? No, it's just a question. You know, just a short little question.
Anyway, yeah, V&U the company, I do think is probably 5 graduations at once, irrespective of the leaks, is a bad look. The fucking Tomomi tweet, bad fucking tweet, bad, definitely. Take away our fucking Twitter privileges, bro. Oh.
Yeah, 5 graduations at once is a bad look. Especially when you actually read the second part of the leak that explains why there were 5 graduations in a row and why it's bad for the company. But you didn't read the second part of the leak. You skimmed it, and you gave, like, the worst overview possible of it, because you didn't want your followers to know what it said, because it makes you look like an ass.
Guys, they said end of story. That means the discussion's closed. Guys, I didn't realize they said end of story. Guys, we should just shut up, stop talking about it. But yeah, so whatever. I think at this point, the issue I have at this point is that it's entirely moved past actually discussion. Yeah, we're wrapping up this section, and people that are only here to argue about this can fuck off. It's gotten so tribal, right? People have dug their heels into one side and are like, nah, this is my side. I like this side. Everything on this side is good. Legal Mindset did nothing wrong. The talents are being babies, but also we care about the talents. The talents are our number 1 priority, but also I don't care if they got hurt.
No, the talents aren't our number 1 priority. The truth is our number 1 priority. As the news, as you like to call us, I don't call myself news, I call myself a drama tuber. But as the news, the truth is our primary concern. Not going to bat for any group of people, not doing activism for any group. The truth is what we should target for. And you don't care about that. During this stream, you've told multiple lies. You've skimmed over multiple times. Just kind of like throwing random little sprinkles of lies in there. I don't know if you're forgetting what you're saying, or you're just totally winging this and you don't remember like your own points, but you're throwing all kinds of stuff in there. And it is clearly you are not interested in the truth.
We care about attacking V&U because bad agency is bad, and we want the agency to be better for the talents, but then the talents get hurt and we don't give a fuck. And then you have people on the V&U side painting every single news tuber across the board with the same brush, saying every drama tuber deserves fucking death, which is a little bit hurtful.
Oh, guys, did you hear that? He said you have the V&U VTubers painting all of us with one brush, saying all of us deserve death. You didn't clarify that that was one person. You made that sound like it was all of V&U. Oh, you should be more careful with your words, bro. That could give people the wrong impression. That could make people think all of the talents are saying that. You really shouldn't be saying something like that, bro. Like, you can't keep it up in your own stream. You set up a rule at the start of this stream, and you are already losing it by the end of the segment. What is wrong with you?
It's the same as the fucking Nietzsche shit, right? Nietzsche happened and people dug their heels in one side or the other, and now at this point, the Nietzsche shit is irrecoverable, right? Nietzsche fans are on one side, drama fans are on the other, and you're never going to mend that fucking bridge. And I think similar things happening here. Rema should have taken more time to process the story. I would agree. Like I said in my initial tweet, I was going to quote tweet it immediately, but then I was like, I don't really want to direct more eyes to the leak than is necessary.
Mama Akko, thank you for the 5. Mizu, why do all the news VTubers the same? They're all up in their fields and stuff. All of them do it. Yeah, no, they don't know how to report on a story. It is all, they want to be a part of the story. They want to be on somebody else's show. Honestly, I'm probably giving him, like, the ultimate, like, high right now by covering him.
I don't really want to give credence to them. Some of the stance of deserving critique. Oh yeah, fucking Tomomi fucked up. That was a bullshit sentiment. A bullshit tweet to put out there. But I didn't want to direct attention to it. I waited a day until it blew up anyway, and I was like, okay, here's my fucking opinion on it. But I don't know. Like, people, I feel like people are so ready to get, like, gotchas for their side. You ever think about that? Like, people aren't really interested in listening or discussing. People are waiting for any moment to slip in a gotcha. Like, you'll be like, okay, I think this is bad, but I think this isn't as bad. Or this person deserves criticism, but this person really, really fucked up. And what'll happen is you'll say, this person really, really fucked up, and this person deserves a little bit of criticism. And you go, but why do they deserve criticism? Why? And it's like, what about the person that did that thing? And it's like, yeah, I already fucking acknowledged they're really bad. I'm acknowledging a different thing. I'm trying to get nuance in this situation because I don't just side with one fucking side over the other because I have caveman tribalism coursing through my blood, right?
Just so we're clear, if you make one sentence that says, death threat bad, I'm not even going to say who gave the death threat, but death threat bad, and then you write a 10-paragraph essay on another person, and you have like this deep nuanced take about why it's inappropriate for them to talk about an issue that they had every right to talk about, that's not being neutral. You have given all of your effort and all of your attention to the lesser of two evils for no valid reason. I don't know why he's trying to pull this. I don't know why he doesn't realize this. You have to, like, kind of space it out like that. But he doesn't. He's like, no, I said death threat bad, so I already addressed that. We don't need to talk about that. Yeah, you said death threat but, and then wrote a 2-paragraph essay on why sometimes it's okay. A little bit of death threat is okay.
I recognize, by the way, I'd like to put this out there. I'm doing myself zero fucking favors by doing this. I'm probably alienating a pretty decent chunk of the community, specifically the news community. Probably alienating
yeah, because you suck.
Fucking big part of my viewer base. I'm not really helping out my street cred, if you say it that way, but fuck, I gotta stand by what I think, right? If I just fucking caved and went with whatever the common sentiment was in any situation, what's the fucking point of me being here, you know?
I do have to call this out. You might alienate yourself from, like, the quote news community, but you are definitely going with the most popular sentiment. So trying to pull this, oh, I'm the little guy, I'm going against the grain. No, you're not. V&U has by and large gotten nothing but support. Post calling out False and Rema and Legal Mindset go viral constantly right now. You are not the little guy in this. Heck, some of your tweets you have made regarding this are bigger than, like, False Rema and Legal Mindsets. You alone have ratioed some of them. Stop pretending like you're the little guy who's going against the grain when everybody else wants you to do something. You are 100% in line with the grain right now.
But anyway. Agree, disagree, whichever. I assume a lot of you are probably already... Oh, there goes my gamer shops. You're probably already in your stance, and now you either think I'm a fucking agency shilling cuck, or you're mad at me for not 100% taking the side of the agency, or whatever. I dislike you as much as before? Thank you. Actually, you know what? That brings me some good. Hey, some people just don't like me, and that's fine. Ugh.
You have a very
something
unlikable face.
Something I would enjoy in the future is... And hey, like, I was heated this discussion because after seeing all this, I, you know, got a little bit tilted, but I do wish we could just take a breath sometimes. And I wasn't very good at breathing this stream, but not everything has to be a million. Like, the same with the death threats. Don't jump to fucking death threats on me. But also, like, I don't know, man. I don't know why we're so angry at each other. I don't know why we're so tribalistic. I don't know why we're so, like, it feels like so many people in this community are just waiting for things to happen so that they can pounce and be angry.
No, there's a valid reason to be mad when somebody starts sending death threats. I don't know why he's trying to spin this at the end here. You can see him trying to come up with like an other side for this, and he can't. Oh, death threat's bad, but like, you know, we also shouldn't. We shouldn't. And he's just lost. He wants there to be two sides. And even in his own video, even after all this simping, he can't come up with the other side. He can't come up with the ultimate wrong on the other half of this. He hasn't figured it out.
About things, and then those things happen, and then they get angry. It feels like the sentiment of, hey, we really want this. We want this cool medium that we have, this cool interest, this hobby that we have to do well has been replaced with, well, who fucked up this week? Who can we rake over the coals in order to, I don't know, spark?
I don't think Pin's an agency siding cuck. I think he's a person who's doing his best to not burn bridges and be in people's good graces for favors instead of reporting on the truth. I would argue a lot of news VTubers are like this. A lot of news VTubers will not talk about certain issues because they seem to think they're going to get an into it. Nux was that way with VShojo. FalseEyeD is that way with HoloLive and VShojo a little bit. There are acceptable targets, and a lot of news VTubers avoid acceptable targets because they think someday they're going to be on those. They can be like arm in arm with some of those people, and the reality is you can't. Those people are never going to like be arm in arm with you. They are never going to care about what you do because by nature of calling yourself a news or drama VTuber, they immediately mark you as a liability. The only way you are getting in an organization like that is if you are such an overwhelming corporate simp, you look like Mr. Underhill. Mr. Underhill was a huge corporate simp. He actively said that he would not cover negative stories about anyone.
Drama. Like, and this is why I said it's bad on both sides, because I do think without that death threat tweet, we could have had a civil discussion about the leaks and the morality of leaking and the when it's okay or what information is like important to be known by the public and what information should maybe be held in reserve. But because of the death threats and because of all that shit, it got escalated into what both groups want the other fucking group to die. And just, I don't know, man.
What happened to that guy anyways? Did he graduate or did he join a corpo under a new identity? Mr. Underhill isn't a corpo now. He graduated from Mr. Underhill and he is in a actual corpo. So that's why I said it worked for him. He's the only way you can actually do news VTubing and make it into a big corpo is you have to be 100% simp all the time and never touch the negative stuff. By nature of touching this, he has immediately marked himself as a liability. And that's the way it's going to be with everyone.
Anyway. This is the end of this part of the drama, I believe. Did I have anything else in my notepad for this section? After this, we can move on to Whimsy. If you hate me, disagree with me, that's fine. If you're in VOD gang and you want to, I don't know, fucking tell me why you disagree with me, try and make it civil. I'll respond to any civil comments if you have it. Being obviously just made an end for life. Hey, False. I like to think I covered it as well as I could, man. Something did.
You did not. You did this very poorly.
Let's move on, shall we? If you're only here for that news, if you're only here to be mad at me, thanks for the stream. I'm not wrapping up stream. We're gonna get into whimsical fun news to cool myself off because there's some good shit that happened this week. Yo, Kiana, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it.
Normal. We can't be called a society if there's only good side. It's always great.
True. Very true. I'm gonna get into the whimsical news. False is serious about that. You know, False is actually gonna square up to me if we ever meet. Yeah, I'm gonna move on to the whimsical news. If you're just here to disagree with me, if you've heard what I just said and you're like, fuck this guy, and you're gonna angrily tweet about it, be my guest, but probably don't want to stick around for the rest of it because we're just gonna be memeing about it and talking about it.
I did in fact angrily tweet about it. Was this guy acting like the graduation leak was on par with leaking to an abuser that their abusee is about to file a TRO or call the cops? No, he just said that all leaks bad. He like tried to pull early on, like, Well, some leaks are good because they hurt the corporation, but if your leak hurts the talents, it's bad. And that's like the only clarification we really got on good leak versus bad leak.
Some cool shit that happened, all right? So yeah, we're drawing a line under it. No more discussion about it, because again, I'm quite heated about it. So one fucking comment will drag me back in. So I'm drawing a firm line under it. We're moving on. Let's see. 105. We spent about an hour on that. Hooray. Oh god. You know, I'm just gonna call it good news. We're just gonna chill. Call it good news. We're gonna vibe.
What is his next piece of news?
Yeah, we're just jumping into some. We'll jump into some cool shit. Can we rabbit the moon boy? Should I could re-enable it. We'll wait. We'll give it like 20 minutes. While we all take a breath. Let's do some group meditation, shall we? Everybody, doesn't matter who you are, we can all come together in this moment. Take a big breath in and out.
Your breath sounds very labored, homie.
Negative Twitter energies out of your body. It's just the internet. We're okay. We're all in. We're all here. We're all in the moment. Other hippie stuff. We do get a little bit in ourselves, don't we? Like, we do sometimes. I think I need to chill out a little.
Yeah, he's still gone. I don't understand why he's so worked up about this. Neither do I. This has basically nothing to do with him. And he was really just like farming it on Twitter for a little bit of engagement. Clearly Penn wanted to argue with Mizu, but stumbled when the content stopped flowing. Oh yeah, no, when I realized he wasn't that interesting to talk to, and he was just going to constantly say nuh-uh, I just dipped out. I'll be honest though, because he had like False pop in the chat. He's like, oh, me and False are going to square up. My entire stream... This is something I don't understand with some other people. Because some people don't really know how to utilize, like, benefits given to them. Like, if False popped in my stream, I was like, hey, do you want to pop in, False, and talk to me? Like, I don't even necessarily like him all that much, but I'm like, hey, you want to pop in and talk, and we can chat about what happened? Like, you have to use that to your benefit, I guess. It's just one of those things, like, I feel like you don't understand anything. When it comes to news. You think news is an activism thing. You think leaks should only be done if they hurt corporations, not if they hurt talents. You have like a huge VTuber pop in your chat and you don't like address him. You just say, oh, False is here, and then you move on. Like, you don't like, hey, False, you want to talk about this? You were like directly tied to this issue. And I've done it before with other people. Not even like big people, but with small people. Like, hey, this issue is about you. Do you want to pop in stream and talk about it? It makes good content. And it gets you like a direct source to your news. Is it a biased source? Yeah, it's one side of the story. But it's more close to the story than you'll ever be. It's just weird that he doesn't leverage it. I don't know. Like, honestly, chat, his whole stream was a bit cringe. Like, the entire time I'm watching through it, I'm taking notes, and I'm like, ugh, buddy, I can't believe you said that. Can't believe you said that. Just over and over again. Like, he definitely needed to work on that a little bit. Remember to hydrate in between Mizu tributes? I actually ran out of drink. I have a very small amount. You can't even hear it, I don't think. I have a very small amount left in here. I went for an unhealthy drink tonight because I've been drinking water all day. But yeah, chat, I'm glad y'all showed up for this tonight. I had a little bit of fun with this. I did not plan on going so long and covering this guy. But after I watched his stream, I just knew I had to. Yui Tachiban got recommended your stream. Love your model. Thank you, thank you. I think he's adorable. Before we go, chat, because nobody actually did it on Twitter or Twitch, I don't think. Maybe they did and it didn't pop up correctly. Let me double check. Because my Twitch has been acting weird lately. Nope, nobody did it. People were just doing the head pats. So, chat, we will do the booba. I know people love the booba. I have bigger boobies than most of your favorite Oshi female streamers. And I paid good money for these. Look at them, they shake. I got fishies in my coat. I got big fat titties. we going for it. Sounds like he's at the wrong out. No news VTubers that much. Guessing that is what you're doing right now, covering nonsense and more nonsense, laughable stuff. I consider myself a drama VTuber. I don't necessarily care about the news. I care about the juicy stories. I like the funny stuff. And I consider this like a funny thing. Let me pop them. Is the popping not working? You should be able to pop them on Twitch. Oh yeah, chat. This comes with a pop. Oh yeah, the pop didn't work. I have to go through my VTube studio and see what's wrong. But here's the pop. I had to pay extra for the pop. Oh, I'm gonna have to double check on the pop. It shouldn't let you do it twice in a row. That's unfortunate. Pop is supposed to be like once every 30 minutes, and then they go back up. I think my Twitch messed up all my things. We'll sort it out before next stream, I promise. But chat, you just saw it pop in the chat. Don't miss out on the Under the Tea podcast every Thursday. If you guys are interested, tomorrow, Monday night, in my Discord, we will be watching Log Horizon, episodes 6 through 10. We've been watching Log Horizon. We didn't watch it last week because I got kind of sick last week. But we watched it the week before that. Every Monday we watch movies and anime in my Discord. So if you guys want to join, here is a Discord link. But I hope you guys have a good evening. I will look out for somebody for us to raid. Because people always like the big raids from the news streams. Please be nice to whoever we raid out to. We like to give a good impression to people we meet. I hope Shiroi is streaming so I can mess up her metrics again. No, she's not. Does anybody know a good VTuber streaming on YouTube? I need to follow more on YouTube so I can, also should turn my music back on. I'm not good at finding live streams on YouTube. Explore live. Can I like search in live? Some phase girls are on. The only phase girl I really like is Pippa though. Pippa is definitely my Oshi. I could raid into a Hollow Live girl, but they get way more attention than me. Oh, I would be a blip on their radar, bro. Tenma? Oh, I could raid into Tenma. I like Tenma. Here she is. We'll see if it lets me do it. Oh, they're all playing Repo. Yeah, we'll do Tenma. She's got a cute little model for this too. I like it. Does it allow me? It does. Awesome. Well, you guys have a good night. Love you all, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.